find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Good evening, good evening. Come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. If we put in the time. Yeah. Good evening, good evening. Come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Good evening, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome to our Tuesday night. See you this Tuesday tonight.
See you now Tuesday. See you now Tuesday. Tuesday. Happy Satan Taco Tuesday. Yeah, something like that.
Oh, Satan
we're,
tacos.
We're half-ass on time. You're welcome. I'm joking.
No, we are. We're right on time.
Yeah, definitely. He was definitely waiting on me, though.
It's all good.
Sorry, y'all.
Hold on,
I got my man home today. If for everybody wanting to know, Jason is home. The eagle has landed. Okay. I'm so excited. I'm just happy he's here. Like, I've missed him since May 10th. Yeah. He's been in the hospital. And
wow.
I'm like, are these hospital hiatuses, like from me? No. But I don't think I didn't question that. And plus we had a bad storm. I mean, ha ha ha. Okay, Chad Daybell. Anyways, he ruins everything. Ask me about Chad Daybell's storm. Actually, don't ask me about Chad Daybell's storm. Okay? Never. Anyway, so yeah, there was a bad storm last night that moved in around 3 a.m. this morning. And I was like, oh, please, baby Jesus, please. I mean, the wind was sideways. I was watching it on the camera, and those things are good, and then they're not good because I don't need to watch it on the camera. So
right, but he's got to be relieved to be home too, right?
Yeah, yes,
yeah.
Chanel says no Chad storms. They know. Yeah, it's crazy.
You know. No, I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to do it.
Do it. Don't listen to me. So y'all ready to talk about some damn Melanie Boudreaux Pawlowski and some damn Lori Daybell?
Let us do that. I mean, the day, I can't believe how fast it got here, because when the last trial ended and they said, okay, we're going to do jury selection on the 29th and 30th, I was like, that is so far away. Can't we move it back a couple weeks? But we're here. It's Friday. It's this Friday. I think
if it were up to Judge Boreski, I think it would already be over. He's quick. He's efficient for sure.
Yeah.
He's like, a week for seating a trial. A jury. I don't think so. He's like, watch this. I just hope that they get a good jury and no 15s.
Yeah, well, you could exactly no. Oh my gosh, let's not go down that rabbit hole. But I'm going to be looking. I had a feeling about him from day one. I had a
I know. I
feeling
remember
about
you
him
saying
from
it.
yes. I just his nonchalantness was troubling to me from day one. But
Yeah.
Judge Bresky also spent a lot of time with the jury. He met with them when they first came in at the beginning of the day, and they had to go sit in their room and wait to be, called up into the courtroom and go through their group voir dire and then their individual voir dire, whatever, however you want to say it. And
It's like foyer.
yeah, foyer. If I'm from
foyer.
Indiana, it's a
French. Francais.
But he was in control of that jury from the very beginning, except for like allowing cell phones in the jury box.
Yeah,
Like,
what up with that, Judge Bresky? I mean, when I go to court here in Lake Charles, Louisiana, we cannot even go into the courtroom. We can't even go into the courthouse with our cell phone. You must turn around. There's no locker for you like at, the skating rink we used to have here. I mean, you don't have a locker. You have to go back to your vehicle. Hopefully you came in one and go put it there because you cannot enter with a cell phone, period. So I don't understand the big gap. How can we be so far apart on things?
yeah. How can he be in so much control of the proceedings and the jury and everything else, and then that one thing that we all just look at and are like, anyway,
right? Just to remove the temptation is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
It's like leaving your car unlocked or something.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody gets in your car and they steal something, even if it's not extremely valuable,
Blame
you lock your
yourself.
car pretty much every single time
It's your
from then
fault.
on out. Yep.
It's your fault. Should have damn locked it,
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he does do any changes, like maybe Deanna May says, maybe he won't allow phones this time. And I mean, it'd be interesting to see, if there is any change.
Yeah. I don't think that he can tell the jurors that they can't talk to anybody after the verdict. Like that was my first thought, is like a whole bunch of people are like, well, just give them time to cool off. Okay. But he literally released them from the admonition the minute that the verdict was read and released them from the courtroom. So he can't control that. But somebody told them like immediately after that. And some people say that the judge told them to Google her history.
Oh, yeah.
So
there's always like that one person, that's like, hey, you heard it here first. Like, oh my gosh, that's my youngest bonus son, y'all. He's always like, he's got to tell everybody first. And it's funny.
Right.
He'll break his neck trying to tell somebody something before anybody.
But you can limit juror interaction with the public.
Yeah. They didn't do that. I mean, because nobody got mobbed there and they talked. Look at Tom. We need to ask Tom Evans how it was expedited. I mean, I've heard him explain it sometimes, but not exactly per like verbatim, I guess.
Yeah, he didn't talk much to me about after the trial, like what happened to him after the trial. He did say he didn't want to talk to anybody immediately, but then it kind of grew on him that he felt compelled to like share some of the stuff there. But he said during the trial, they were very much like separated from the public and the media. And they didn't do that last trial. Like they were allowed to wander around during lunch breaks in the same area as the public and the media. It was to me too.
I mean, especially you're by yourself. You can't really talk to your other jury peer members at all about the trial. You can talk to them, but I mean, whatever. It just seems like, and then you're roaming free. It seems like they would at least bring lunch, catered lunch, or
they don't want to pay for it.
That's crazy.
It is. the public information officer, Vince, he told me they don't pay for any lunches for the jurors except for on Jury Appreciation Day on like May 1st.
Damn.
One day a
Wow.
year. Yeah, but
Wow.
they will pay the jurors up to $300 a day for
So I give them
lost
that.
income while they
I
serve
give
on the
them that.
jury.
I give them
But
that. I was
you
like,
can pay them
$300 a day.
$300. Yeah, but you can't pay another like $10, $15 for them to have a lunch. Like,
Yeah, just like half that, like split that down the middle
right.
and let it go to other areas of jury duty, comfort. I don't know what to call it. I don't know. I mean, like, but it was funny how, not funny, well, kind of, how Lori was like, adding her name onto the questionnaire. And he was like, it's the name of the case. And I'm just like, who do you think you are, lady? Like, I would love to just hear. Not really. I really would not. But just, she thinks she is hot schnot. Like she is just a goddess is what she thinks she is. And she's acting like it. She's like, not to add all that information to the questionnaire. And we're like, I'm sitting here going like, like what? Like your date of birth?
Well,
Like, what are they putting on there?
She makes
Your
shit up
name?
that is related to her narcissism, because
Yeah.
that's what that question is like directly related to, because she said nobody ever does that in these cases. And Judge Bresky said, I literally have done that in every single one of the trials that I have presided over.
And I bet whenever she was saying that we're just gonna have a problem. And I'm thinking, well, nobody had a problem but you, obviously. Like
right.
he sat one really quick and there was no problem. Thankfully, I don't know. She's a wild one, yeah. I got Jason to listen to the last hearing. I'm like, you have to hear it. You have to hear it. It's my favorite hearing ever. He's probably like, damn, I want to go back to the hospital.
They don't make me watch this at the hospital.
No, they don't. Anyways, that's why he's my boo.
So what are we going to watch tonight? What are we going to look at? What are we going to read? What's the plan?
We're going to watch me talk about a timeline. And, we'll just kind of talk about it along the way. I mean, of course, I tried to do my very best to correct the timeline that I was sharing.
Yes.
Sunday, yeah. Because there were just one too many times where I was like, I have never heard this before. Where the hell did you come up with this timeline, people? I appreciate the effort, but I mean, come on, you did all this work. Whomever made that timeline, make it accurate. And then I'll what do you call it? I will share it. I will scream it from the mountaintops, just that I used your timeline, and it'll get a big shout out is what I'm trying to get at. But anyways, so yeah. So, I mean, I did my best. So I'm just going to go through it more here with you guys. And of course, I'm not going to catch it until I actually see it. So, but I tried doing my best between then and now. Oh, I did share my screen. So just whenever you.
Oh, here we go.
It's like almost. Okay. So let me go here. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm spastic. All right. I didn't even put Alex on there. I didn't even put Chad Daybell on there. One of them's back here. But to me, these are the co-conspirators, in my opinion. In my world, I wish this one was charged and was going on trial, and that would be Melanie Boudreaux. I don't see how she's getting away with this. I don't know if she'll ever be held accountable or what. I'm very baffled by this. And I would say that, okay, just like with all these other cult members, these other participants. Okay. You don't have to charge them with first degree murder or capital or anything. You can charge them with obstruction. There's all kinds of other charges, that accessory. There's all kinds of other charges to choose from that you can convict on. So why are these people free? All of them except for 2. And this isn't like well, I say it's not like a mafia mob boss type thing, but it kind of is. But going after the big fish, and I'm like, they're all little fish. Okay, can you get them all? They're all annoying. They're all deadly. They're all dangerous. They all allowed this to happen, and I don't
not just allowed it
understand
to happen. They contributed
Participate.
to it
Yeah.
in significant ways.
Whether they believe or not. I'm not the gullibility police, like I'm not sitting here trying to gauge if someone was naive or gullible or whatever. You did what you did. You're an adult. You're a parent. A lot of these people are grandparents. Okay. So I care about what happened with Tylee and JJ and Tammy and Charles. That's who I care about. And I really care about Tylee and JJ because they had no one. All the adults were betraying them. Every freaking one of them. So I don't feel sorry for these people. Sometimes, I'll be like, well, whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't. These children were vulnerable. They are the vulnerable. They're children, like they don't have the wherewithal. They can't just leave. They couldn't just leave. I wish Tylee would have. I mean, but I can't fault her for that. Like she was a kid. She's a kid. She shouldn't have to do that. She shouldn't. She should. Anyways, it's a rabbit hole all on its own.
And in the circle around that, I also hold partially responsible to whatever degree of responsibility you personally feel like assigning the Chandler PD and the Gilbert PD for not being more thorough and intense in their investigation and diligent. Yeah, all kinds of words. I mean, the thesaurus is full of words that they didn't do. And if they had brought charges like off of after your uncle was murdered, if they had brought some kind of charges, I mean, who knows, but it's possible that JJ and Tylee would still be around today. I mean, that's my thought. That's where I go with that. Like,
yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things that went wrong for these people were able to buy time, distance, alibis to some extent. Like Melanie Gibb covered for Lori until she didn't cover for her anymore. And I mean, I believe that's because she's complicit, but that's just me. And then I believe like Melanie and David created this alibi, this story around what they already knew because they participated. I do believe that with my whole heart. I try, I've watched everything as it's unfolded. I've been there. I've gone through it. Melanie Gibb had me, I guess, snowballed for about probably a day, one day. And I was just like, what are you? Like, I don't understand. I think she got out ahead of it, to try and do damage control. I believe the same thing about Audrey Baratero. I mean, Lori called Audrey Baratero the day right after my Uncle Charles was shot at or killed. I'm trying not to use the words, but right after he was murdered, between her run to Walgreens and dropping JJ off and fleeing the scene, a crime scene. Anyways, there's just a lot of questions I still have. I'm not going to apologize for that, though. I feel like I need to. Or I feel like people are like, you need to move on. And I mean, I do. I've moved on. However, I still feel the same way about these people. I've felt like, what about the rest of them is something I've said time and time again. What about the rest of them? Okay. Alex is dead. What about the rest of the cult? Is the cult only Chad, Lori, and Alex? I'd say that's just a effed up family, you know? I wouldn't call them a
Yeah.
cult. So it's like
Right.
we throw around the cult mom, doomsday cult, da da da, but we don't. It's only half-assed, or only whenever it serves our own needs. You know. Anyways, uh, I don't know.
I don't. We don't. Well, we know, like, deep inside. I think we kind of know, but we can't make a declaration like absolutely yes, they
Mm.
should be charged. But we have a feeling a certain way. And I know you have even more of a certain feeling, a certain way about most of these people.
Oh my God, Huggy Bear! I'm sorry, Joe. Okay, I saw where Huggy Bear said, "Sorry to distract from the subject, but I thought Crusher would want to know." And then Dizzy put up breaking
Oh,
news: Tim Ballard has been indicted for espionage in Argentina. I would sing, but I can't. But hallelujah. Okay, right? Amen.
wow.
Sorry, I'm giggling, but damn, that's makes me freaking happy. Kind of. I mean, he should be indicted on many other things, but hey, we'll take it. Thank you, Huggy Bear. Oh my gosh. Thank you. It's a good day. It's a good day to be a good day. Amen. So, boy, we need to get into that too. Whew. There's so many things to get into, Joe. We've got job security, dude. I'm telling you. There's
Wow. And that's breaking news, because Dr. Google doesn't even provide any results on that.
oh crap.
Yeah.
Hmm. Huggy Bear follows Tim, or not Tim. Don't follow him, but they're a go-getter just like we are. You know, just yeah. Every step of this way, they follow the comings and goings of Tim Ballard and this cult. Because I mean, they're here too, you know, for Lori and Chad, not for them, but because we're talking about them. Because there's something bigger going on, and always has been. It's just in the legal system, it seems that you can only go at it piece by piece unless you're doing a RICO
Right.
criminal case, you know. So um it just kind of is what it is. It's the way the cookie's crumbling. So that's where I've seen that I can you know, put a dent in these people's pockets. Because, and I mean, again, it's like you can go after them for being the individuals that they are, for participating in these castings, for wishing that children and innocent people were dead. Okay. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, sit the hell down, clown. What are you doing? You know, like, if you're that innocent, if it's still the intent, it's the intent is there, is what I'm saying. And like Melanie Gibbs, she acts like she's all innocent, you know, but then you go listen to David Warwick testify in Chad Daybell's trial, and he's like, yeah, she's into foot reflexology. And I'm like, what the hell you think that is? Muscle testing, dork. You know, they say it without saying it. They give themselves plausible deniability is what it is. And it sucks. It sucks because they just change the definitions is all they do. And to exonerate themselves, basically. They're exalted, remember? So
Right. So what was Tim Ballard doing in Argentina? Was he like staying
obviously
out
up
of the
them.
States intentionally? Was he avoiding something in the US?
Tim Ballard likes to, just like Alex Cox would go to the like Colombia. He would go to Colombia to these sex tourism type events where, you know, he was going to find a wife or whatever, but obviously he didn't come back with one. There is an interview out there on J is for Justice from this woman who met Alex Cox at one of those events. Well, Tim Ballard claims that he is an anti-trafficking organization who goes and rescues children from trafficking. And it turns out that not one child has been rescued. What they were doing was they're the middleman. All of these people are the middlemen. They are part of these adoption agencies that are questionable. They take the funds. I mean, they're given or donated. People donate tens upon hundreds of millions of dollars to these organizations like Operation Underground Railroad and what was the name of Children Need Families was the adoption agency that his wife and Tim also were taken part of. And it feels like, okay, because I don't have this in front of me and I suck at just summarizing things, but no child was ever rescued. What they're doing is they're exploiting people. I know that there's more victims or women claiming to be victims of Tim Ballard's where he was using these pickup lines. He would go in and he pretends like he rescues all these children by himself, like one man, okay, just goes in and to these third world vulnerable countries, okay. And I don't know if Argentina is or not, but I'm just saying he would mainly go into Haiti and places of the like, Mexico, where they pretend to be these white guys, these rich billionaire, whatever, where they pay for sex parties with children. Okay. So basically, he's projecting, in my opinion, he's projecting and pretending to rescue children from monsters like himself and his friends, is what it really boils down to. Like, they're actually the ones that are paying for sex with children, in my opinion, allegedly.
Right. So would any of the children from those countries actually like be, end up in the US, like in the custody of some people in the US, or was it just for the parties in those countries?
He says it's like some kind of jurisdictional line. Like I think he says something along the lines of, he's, oh my God, I don't have all this prepared. So
Yeah,
I
we
feel like
were
a
we weren't going
2-year-old.
down this rabbit hole. We were not
But I
going
mean,
down this
it
rabbit hole, and then
sucks.
boom.
It sucks so bad. And I'm passionate about it. I love nothing more than to see people rescued or freed from being slaves of any kind. But in all actuality, what I believe is happening, just like with Chad and Lori, and I know I sound crazy for just telling you what it looks like they are doing. Okay. So I'm the whistleblower. I'm crazy. Okay. That's how this goes. They're trying to usher in the second coming of Jesus Christ, except the second coming of Jesus Christ is not Jesus Christ at all. It's really this new world order type shit. Okay. This agenda. And that's Lori told that to my uncle. I'm ushering in the second coming of Christ. But she's just part of that group or that huge age old conspiracy that's been going on forever, trying to take over the world and make us slaves. And
Right.
there's actually a comment from Tim Ballard to Ken Krogh and Ken Krogh to Tim Ballard in front of one of Tim Ballard's now she's a former executive assistant, Celeste Borges. She has them on tape saying that M. Russell Ballard was pushing Tim to start Operation Underground Railroad and to have, like Ken help Tim and Tom Harrison help Tim. Everybody helped Tim, right? Because, create this Operation Underground Railroad, because if not, in 10 years, they would become slaves, meaning we would become slaves. So what does M. Russell Ballard know, or what did he know? And tip off, why was he tipped off and has this special intelligence, of what's to come? Like, to me, it sounds like that's the agenda, like to make us slaves. Because if Tim Ballard didn't start Operation Underground Railroad for some reason, and Russell Ballard said that in 10 years they'd be slaves. So they started Operation Underground Railroad, and he backed it financially, him and a couple other apostles. So, I mean,
we've done 8 episodes of our Tuesday nights, and we haven't even touched Underground Railroad, Operation Underground Railroad.
No.
Haven't even touched it.
It goes hand in hand. It all goes hand in hand. Chad and Lori are just, okay, I've likened it to this before. You know how on Armageddon, I don't know if you've ever watched the movie, but there's pieces of the actual, what is it that's coming to hit us? Oh my God. Crap, I can't think of it. Asteroid. The asteroid is, in that movie, it's coming for us, and oh my God. But it's just like Chad and Lori are just a piece of asteroid. Jody and Ruby are another piece of that asteroid. And Tim Ballard and Tom Harrison and Operation Underground Railroad and M. Russell Ballard, that's a huge piece of it. It's like we're getting hit at different times by these different actors who are all part of this one group who's wanting to cause harm. They're inverted, they're
right.
It's not my fault. I'm just here trying to translate it to
you're supposed to check your mod chat for something about this.
Okay. Auto ID.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
one
can.
more thing.
I just have it just says dizzy. Y'all ready? Anyways, I can't.
Do you have a separate mod chat, like with your moderators on YouTube?
Oh, my phone maybe. Okay, I'm like, what?
Janelle.
Okay.
Asteroid.
Okay, it's a news story. Mike Boris posted it. Tim Ballard has been criminally charged in Argentina with espionage. We had an excellent meeting with the Minister of National Security and the Director of Anti-Human Trafficking. So I'm not going to open it right now though, but thank you, Beach Bomb. Just know that Tim Ballard, he's friends with the likes of Carlos Slim. Carlos Slim bankrolled the movie Sound of Freedom. Carlos Slim owns like all of the cell services and everything in Mexico. Tim Ballard's friends with Donald Trump. Tim Ballard is friends with the Clintons. Tim Ballard is friends with, who am I missing? Because I feel like he was knighted by the Queen as a Knights Templar in 2015. He says that he's an ex-CIA guy or former CIA guy, but he really only worked for Homeland Security. And actually, he could be CIA or former CIA, but we don't know that because you can't just call and, get a background on him. He has to get permission, and he's just got a lot of questionable, I mean, like there's too many to name, questionable affiliations with some really questionable people. Sound of Freedom was basically a propaganda movie.
Yes.
And it gives off this facade.
Yes. That's what I was going to say, because people that I know that are very anti-human trafficking, and that's like a trigger thing for them, were like, this movie is awesome. This movie is great. Like, it really impacted me.
Yep. But did it impact any of the victims? No.
Right. And if you were in the CIA, would you go around and tell people that you were in the CIA?
Right. You should see how exactly, Joe, but he goes on these quote unquote missions, and he would get these operators, these women, to volunteer to go with him and pretend to be his wife. And he would use this pickup line, same as Chad did with Lori. We were married before in a past life. We were past life wife. Okay. And there's all this talk of like where these women, okay, I'm not faulting them. I'm just saying that is very specific and very unique to Mormonism for sure, because like it came from Saturday's Warrior, which was I don't know if you watched Saturday's Warrior in your young days, but it was a popular program during like when Lori was young, when Chad was young, and it's about being uh anyways, like a past life, but they don't believe in past lives. It's so double standard. Okay. It's so double speak. Where Mormons don't believe in multiple lives. However, what do you call pre-existence? What do you call now? And then what do you call afterlife? But it's different. It's like reincarnation, but it's different, they say.
Right. And it's an angle to use for manipulation, plain and simple.
Correct.
I mean,
Correct.
yeah.
And it has been used just for that, for sure. I mean, for sure in Lori and Chad. In my own family, this is my own family's demise. This is lying at the core of it, But then everybody's in denial. They either say, "Oh no, we don't believe that. We don't teach that," and then I'm like, "Oh, well, what's this?" And you break it down a little bit, just in layman's terms or whatever. Because Lord knows, I'm not a doc, like a I'm not a professor in all these things, I don't know. I'm just like, but okay. It just comes down, like you said, to manipulation. And that's what it is. It's exploitation at its finest. At its finest. It's in my opinion, it's like all these churches, not just the Mormon church, but all these churches are acting as the middleman, as a medium, so to speak. And they're holding people's own salvations hostage in lieu of basically like loyalty, like commit to me and my cause, give me power by giving me your money. And then they become powerful, and then they crap all over all the little people. They abuse all the people, and they exploit and they use and use and use. It's just Lori over and over and over again. And when they're done,
we saw that in the last trial where a couple of people that were on the fringe of that group started having doubts about it, and she all of a sudden declared them dark. Right. Like, if you're not loyal to me, you're dark. So
if you're not for me, then you're against me. Yes, it's black and white thinking, and that I see all over. Like I don't even have to investigate the Catholic Church or any other church. I'm just like, because don't don't you think, or don't worry, because like the Mormons go hang out with the Pope. They hang out and they're like, well, how many did you dupe today? I mean, I wonder. Actually, I don't want to even know. No. I don't even want to know what goes on behind doors, because they act like they're enemies.
Yeah, if somebody comes up to you, Kresha, and says, we were married in a past life, we should hook up. What is your natural reaction? Like,
I'm going to punch them in their balls straight up, and then I'm going to haul ass. Asshole and elbows is all you're going to see. Okay. Sorry to be so, not classy, but I'm just saying. Hey, oh geez, huh? There's my friend M. He always comes around. Oh, Emma's I believe a believer, but I appreciate him for coming. Good to see you, Em. And Janelle's laughing. I mean, it's true though. It's just I don't know. It just sucks to see so many people be duped, to be hurt, to be under bondage, to be used. Okay, and I mean, so I'm not saying I'm free of it. I'm just saying that's what I see.
Right, but there's also people in between. So there's the people that are the victims. There are the people that are the manipulators. And then there's the people that are like Melanie Gibb.
The enablers.
She claims to have been duped. She says, well, I believed it, but I didn't believe it 100%. Multiple
also says that she don't know how to manipulate. I'm like, that is a manipulation right there, girl. Babies, when they're 2 weeks old, 2 to 3, when they're newborns, they learn how to manipulate to get fed, to get changed, to get attention, you know, like to get whatever it is that they need. So, I mean, I'm not saying that it's all bad. I'm just saying that there's a whole lot of manipulation and people taking scriptures, whether they're from the Book of Mormon or from the Bible, or I don't care who wrote them, who carved them in stone. I'm just saying people use those and then they twist them for control purposes to say that how you're living is not right. And I don't agree with it. So therefore, I'm not going to let God judge you. I'm going to judge you right here on earth. And you're dark or you're gay or you're whatever, you know, blacks in priesthood, right? I mean, just there's so many ways of it being used against people that I don't believe in that. I don't believe
that's
that
what
at
brings
all.
us here to this pre-trial, because there were different people at different levels involved. Melanie,
Oh God,
at the
yeah.
time, Boudreaux, you know, what part did Melanie Boudreaux play? Obviously, we know Lori and Alex's role. What role did Chad play? So that's what brings us here. Like, that's the connecting
Yeah,
point. Like, all
that
this
is the
discussion
church.
we've been having, like, is reality right now. This is Lori's
Yep.
reality. Is
It's
she's got to face this now? Why doesn't Melanie Pawlowski have to face this now? That's a
right,
question for people to think
right.
about, maybe.
It was such a huge case, and as it was unraveling, it was so massive. Like it's so hard to pinpoint all the times, you know, that okay, well, what did Melanie do? What's her role? What all did she do, and what did she believe in all this? We don't have all the pieces, you know, so we're just looking at the pieces that we do have, and we're trying to discern, I guess, to whether I don't know. I she should be ashamed of herself is what I'm saying. And I mean, I'm sorry for the manipulation, uh, what do you call that system that she was raised in with that they were all raised in. I'm sorry, but I cannot change it. You know, like eh, I wish I could, but that's not how it works. You know, they're going to have to learn on
Right.
their own. Like that's where you can't do things for people. They just, I mean, Lori thinks she's exalted for Christ's sake. Okay. Well, that looks differently on from my end. You know, I'm just like, dang girl, you're gonna have to you regressed, okay? Like no progression. But anyways, I'm no better than anybody else. I'm not, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to say that I'm know all be all. I'm just saying from just from researching into all this and it just but I can kind of see it for a lot of many different organizations to manipulate and to use people, and it sucks. It really does. So, Lori Vallow Daybell, often referred to as the Doomsday Mom, has been convicted for the deaths of her 2 children in Idaho and for the murder of Charles Vallow. She now faces, also for Tammy Daybell, she now faces further charges in Arizona. Prosecutors claim that in October 2019, Vallow conspired with her brother, Alex Cox, to kill Brandon Boudreaux, the former husband of her niece, Melanie Pawlowski. Boudreaux narrowly escaped a shooting outside his home in Gilbert, Arizona. Investigators assert that Alex Cox discharged the firearm in an attempt to hit Brandon, or Boudreaux, while Lori Vallow was instrumental in orchestrating the attempted murder. Prosecutors have highlighted digital evidence such as Cox's cell phone records, which indicate his proximity to Boudreaux's residence when the shooting occurred. Additionally, Lori's suspicious internet searches after the event further implicate her in the scheme. And so it says what happened. Brandon Boudreaux had just moved into his new home on East Phelps Street or Road the previous Wednesday, following his separation from his soon-to-be ex-wife, Melanie Boudreaux. They shared 4 children. Brandon explained the divorce stemmed from Melanie's beliefs, ongoing issues with her family, and concerns tied to a recent homicide in Chandler. That morning, Brandon had taken his 4 children out, dropping the older 2 at school, the third at a day camp, and the youngest at Melanie's rental home, before heading to the gym. As he drove home and was preparing to pull into the driveway of his new rental home, he noticed a dark-colored Jeep Wrangler parked near his driveway. As he slowed to turn, he saw a large muzzle pointed at him from the open rear hatch. A shot was fired, shattering his driver's side window. Brandon sped away and called 911 from a nearby park. Investigators later found, I don't know. I don't know about the tire track. I remember them taking pictures of the ground, but I don't know what. So I'm going to skip that. All right. Timeline of events. So this is just a synopsis, I guess. July 11, 2019, Lori's husband, Charles Vallow, is shot and killed by Alex Cox in Chandler, Arizona. October 2nd, 2019, Brandon Boudreaux is targeted in a failed shooting attempt. He survives. December 12, 2019, Alex Cox dies of natural causes, limiting firsthand witness testimony. 2023, investigators formally connect Lori to the Boudreaux shooting plot. April 22nd, 2025, Lori is convicted in Arizona for conspiring to murder Charles Vallow. June 2nd, 2025, it's scheduled Lori to stand trial in Maricopa County for the conspiracy to murder Brandon Boudreaux. So the legal context, the prosecution's allegations, Lori Vallow's representation. She's currently appearing pro se, representing herself. Right. Prosecution's core contentions. Target, alleged efforts to eliminate Brandon Boudreaux. Motives, to safeguard her niece's custodial arrangements. That would be Melanie Boudreaux. To neutralize an individual perceived as a threat to their apocalyptic and unorthodox beliefs. To secure a substantial life insurance payout for Melanie Boudreaux. Note, the financial motive reportedly intensified after Charles Vallow's life insurance proceeds were dispersed to K. Vallow Woodcock. And the broader pattern is that this case is presented as part of a continuum of violent conspiratorial actions purportedly involving Vallow and Alex Cox. Jason got me a Sonic milkshake, so yay.
All right, you got to tell us what flavor. You can't go on until we know what flavor.
I'm very, very, I'm predictable. I get the same thing all the time. It's just chocolate. I don't trust white chocolate. Does that make me weird? I don't. I'm like, I don't know. it's missing pigment, you know? Anyways. I know, I told you. So the timeline for Brandon Boudreaux. Lori Vallow Daybell, conspiracy to murder Brandon Boudreaux, 2019, Arizona case overview. So October 2nd, 2019 at 9:15 a.m., Brandon Boudreaux reports an attempted shooting outside his home at 3875 East Phelps Street in Gilbert, Arizona. A shot was fired from a dark-colored Jeep Wrangler. The rear window of Boudreaux's Tesla was shattered. No, that's not right. See, okay. I'm going to change it right here. The driver's side. I need help. Paid help. All right.
This person needs help.
Right? Who?
Whoever wrote this.
Whoever wrote this. Well, I thought I fixed it, but I wasn't planning on going back over the stuff I'd already went over, but might as well. Yeah. The driver's side window of Boudreaux's Tesla was shattered. No injuries were reported. Boudreaux immediately contacts the police. So it says the timeline, attempted murder of Brandon Boudreaux. Still going on that. Okay. Brandon Boudreaux reports an attempted shooting outside his home at 3875 East Phelps Street, Gilbert, Arizona. So here's a little map. Where is East Phelps? Well, it's not a very detailed map. I just actually put this on here while you were playing the intro. So there's a general. Okay. So October 2nd, 2019, attempted murder event. Brandon returns from the gym to his Arizona home when he is shot at with the bullet missing his head by inches. The shooter was driving a Jeep registered to then deceased Charles Vallow. 7:17 a.m. Alex Cox searches again for directions to Brandon Boudreaux from his current location, which was the LDS Temple, 3301 South Greenfield Road, Gilbert, Arizona. I thought I'd put, okay, I guess I didn't. Because I wanted to kind of see the layout of that too. So let me search it real quick and we'll look at it real quick as well. Allegedly. I think they have, no. Let's try this. Oh, I know what I did. I put parking lot too, because that kind of helped me too. I guess it just didn't transfer over. Okay. All right, let's see. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it gave me some options in my room. It's like they're different computers and they don't think alike. Oh, there was okay. So, I mean, just to give you like just to understand how comfortable, because it disturbs me and it just should disturb other people, that Alex Cox, this was a trend for him. Like he would go and sit in these parking lots of a church that excommunicated him twice. So I'm not saying hate the church. I'm just saying it's odd that he feels so comfortable to just lay in wait for the next murder. It's a little odd. And it just makes me wonder what kind of security he got from that. Like what, I don't know. It's just a
That
little
is
different.
bizarre. It is bizarre. It's really bizarre.
Yeah.
Especially what we know about her habits in the churches or in the temple. Was that the temple that she was going to almost daily? Or was it a different one?
It was one of them. I do believe the Gilbert Temple is the one that her and Chad were sealed in. And don't come at me with they were self-sealed. If you were there, provide proof. Okay. I'm just saying, I'm going off what's being said. I'm not listening to liars like Mona give. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, Janelle says Gilbert Temple is where they were sealed.
Thank you, Janelle.
And she was where she was going to on a regular basis, daily basis.
Okay. Because I knew the Mesa Temple was under construction at the time. I remember looking at all that.
Reconstruction, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
that temple, the Mesa Temple, was actually built in 1927. So like early days of the church. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
1927.
That is
wow.
that's pretty long time ago. That really is.
I used to have a Book of Mormon from the 1920s, like around that time period.
Oh, wow.
So I could compare what today's Book of Mormon, what the changes are that have been made from that time to now, but I have no idea where that is now.
That's neat. That really is. I mean, again, I didn't know the first thing about Mormonism, LDS, nothing. Okay. I knew nothing about it. And I mean, I know quite a bit about it now. And through this case, through trying to research and figure out what is what. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to understand how Lori and Chad believe or what they read and how it's not the same as just being a Christian. It's way different. In my opinion, that's my take on it. It's just its own brand, So Summer actually has a picture of this actual temple right here. Summer Shiflett. Anyways, so all right, there's that. Alex starts, so 7:19, Alex starts traveling towards Brandon's home. 7:20, Brandon Boudreaux left his home to drop off his oldest children at school and to exchange younger kids with their mother, Melanie Boudreaux. Actually, I thought about this before coming on, but I forgot to do it. And it's, if you can look for it, Joe, it's actually when Melanie, just type in something like Melanie Boudreaux and Ian Pawlowski are served with subpoena for grand jury in Idaho. And you'll, because whenever you pull that body cam up, right at the very beginning, you'll see the park where that's actually across from Melanie Boudreaux's house. And because Brandon talks about that, like he would just let the kids play at the park and, it's right across the street. So
I got it. Boom. Just like that.
That'll never happen.
See that now?
Yeah. I mean, I'm visual, so I think it's cool to just.
Oh, this is Gigi. Gigi said I'm fine to use her material anytime I want.
Yeah. Gigi's awesome.
She is.
I mean, I have it on mine, but I can't even think about finding it.
Right. Here we go. Present, share screen. It's the body cam.
Yep. He's just sweaty, the cop. Well, Unicorn Ranger, I'm glad you're here. Glad you found your couch, too. Yeah. So Melanie's actually walking her dog across from her house.
Good morning. Golden Retriever? Yeah. It's okay. Melanie, I'm Detective Engler with Chandler PD. Okay.
Hi.
She's probably like, oh, I'm so scared.
Apparently you and your husband are wanted for a subpoena for testimony up in Idaho. So I can get paperwork to you for that.
Do you want to go back to the house? Would that be easier?
Look at the dog's taking her all around the damn park.
I need to have my dog go potty and then take your kids to school.
Okay.
It'll just take a minute. But I don't have to ask you a question. I can actually get paperwork for the hearing. And then
Was that growling?
as well. Is he home?
Yeah, he's doing a work meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all I need to do.
It only takes a couple minutes and we're done.
I'll go to the bathroom. That's fine.
Yeah,
I just want
can
to
I get my kids to
give you the,
school? Is that-
Yeah, you'll have the time to do that right away. This literally, it takes like, what,
This is
3-4
like
minutes a piece?
2021, I believe.
You want me to hold him? I'm not bad with
I don't
dogs.
know if she's a sweetheart. I think she just
Yeah,
gets scared.
she'll smell my golden doodle and Aussie doodle, so I think she'll be okay. I'll take her if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah,
Okay. Let's go potty. Come on.
You want-
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
She really did.
Come on, let's play. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
That dog just wants to play. It's like, it's a game, right? It's a game. Game on. Let's go.
Yeah.
Have you had any contact with the prosecutor up in Idaho?
Robert? Oh,
There could be.
So she lives right there.
I get it.
Roto-Rooter.
But the reason I'm asking
well,
is, yeah,
30.
the reason I'm asking is if you had contact with them, maybe they would explain something to you. Probably at this point, but
I don't think so. Is there any way I can get them to school soon about 8?
What time do they have to go to school?
You need to be there at 8. So I was going to take her and get them in the car and go.
Okay, well,
this
this takes like 20 seconds a piece. So if he just comes outside, we'll be done.
Yeah. I have to mention that Alex Cox is said to have taken care of many of the dogs that were no longer wanted by individuals in the Cox family.
What do
You know
mean
what
by
take care
of
means.
them?
You know what take care means.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. I believe that the only reason Bailey, JJ's service dog, was spared was because Lori tried selling it and you can't sell. You're not supposed to sell a dog that is what's it called? A service animal, right? And the trainer actually noticed the ad and went and picked the dog up and rehomed him. So I believe that's the only reason Bailey was spared, because I don't think that Lori would have spared anything to use that against Tylee and JJ to terrorize them even more.
That's a whole nother level of evil.
Right?
That's a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
She's going inside to get her husband real quick. She's in a hurry because she wants to get the kids to school by 8.
They share a son too. His name is Kylo. Felt like Kilo.
Does she have to sign anything, or?
If she waives the hearing,
Oh, okay.
because they'll be afforded the opportunity to go to a hearing
Oh,
to like say why they shouldn't have to go.
oh, okay.
And then a lot of times, most people just waive the hearing and then sign the waiver,
Mm-hmm.
and then just go ahead and go.
Mhm.
If they're
Okay.
willing.
Trace, I'm gonna look up those
Mhm.
pictures real quick.
Hey, kids.
We only saw the 1-1-year-old.
Hello, how are you? How you doing?
How's it going, Ian?
With the county attorney's office, Maricopa County. Sure. Detective there. And I just wanted to get you and your wife some paperwork in regard to, I guess, we want to have you guys come up to Idaho and testify, whatever information you have on that pending case.
Okay.
I assume you're familiar with what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The case we're talking about.
Yep.
So I basically have paperwork for you and you as well.
You know that case
And,
where your wife
and then there's a hearing if you want
is
to go to
the
a hearing,
niece of
say
somebody
why
who had
you
allowed
shouldn't
her
have to
children?
go to Idaho.
You know what I'm talking about?
So if you waive that
Yeah.
hearing, if they're cooperative, and you can go ahead and go back up there. I think they want you guys May 18th, I believe, is the date. Then you can waive that hearing and then just make arrangements with Idaho, the prosecutor up there. I'm sure they'll take care of travel arrangements, that type of thing.
All right, I'm going to use the word again, nonchalant. They know exactly what case this officer is talking about. They know exactly what case he's talking about.
Yeah,
And they're
not
standing
gonna
there with
stop
their hands on
Yeah.
their hips.
They're
Like, okay.
Yep.
No, it's not okay. It's not okay, people.
Exactly. Act like it. Act something. Something. Oh my God. I used to sound, I still do, sound like a crazy person just to
Yeah.
like go to the corner store around, when the case was first happening. It was, I'm trying to use a keyword or a code word. It was COVID. Okay. So, I mean, I went to the dollar store and they ask how I'm doing or whatever. And I'm just like, oh my God, I start going into it. And then I sound crazy. I can't follow one thought, You can't just remain calm and nonchalant. Can't.
Not unless you
And mhm,
you're like trying not
to
act
raise
like
any
it.
alarm. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This she knows that her aunt was complicit in the unaliving of children, and she's standing there in front of her front door with her hands on her hips like somebody is coming up for a Halloween trick or treat.
Yeah. She'd probably be all into it if it were trick or treating.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Sure. And then you guys can go up there and take care of it.
Okay.
God.
Otherwise, so yeah, if you do want to waive that hearing, then you just have the document for you to sign to waive the hearing, and then they'll make your way up to Idaho.
Okay.
There's a regular, is that something you guys want to do?
Yeah, well, let's talk about, I don't know, sorry, I gotta get my kids to school, so I just gotta get this thing.
Okay.
Such a good mom.
So, yeah.
Sounds like Lori. I just got to get to the
Yeah.
kids. Got to get the kids to school.
Documents for you. It's basically an order of short cause. That's the hearing. And then the subpoena is in there as well from Fremont County.
Okay.
Idaho. That's for you as well. So with that hearing date being the 12th, 8:30 Maricopa County Courthouse downtown. If you guys are willing to waive that hearing and then make arrangements with the attorney, for information up here.
Okay.
On that paperwork. Sure. If you call her,
Okay.
Lindsay Blake, and then a lot of times they'll include.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Okay. Well, she's one of the prosecutors anyway up there.
Okay.
Fremont County. So, If you guys want to waive that hearing on the 12th, and then just make arrangements with her to go up to Idaho for that hearing on the 18th. Well, it's for that day, but it may take a couple days. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Then you guys I can have you sign that, and then that waives the hearing.
Okay.
So it's up to you guys.
I don't know. Can we make a decision?
I
I don't know.
By your
right now.
attorney.
We might have like a lawyer to talk to who can help us know what to do. I'm kind of trying to get my kiddos to school, so I'm kind of trying to make a decision now.
So just call here right now.
She's looking at him for support. Like, throw me a lifeline here, Ian.
don't.
Throw me a lifeline. And
And
he's
they're
like, what?
tone deaf.
Yes.
Chad's the same way. Chad's the same way. Like, there's no chivalrous bone in Chad Daybell's body. Okay. He's like, yeah, ladies first. You go to trial before me. You know, like, that's the only time I've ever seen him be cool with
Ladies
that,
first.
you know?
I love that.
Yeah. Oops.
Oh,
I'm serious. Because that's how my Uncle
Ladies
Charles
first.
was. My Uncle Charles was very chivalrous. I like that. I appreciate that when someone is chivalrous, you know, it's polite. It's I
Right.
don't know.
Except when you say ladies first, when it's to the
When
electric chair.
Yeah. 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 After their cases were joined together, you know, and then John Pryor got them pulled apart and separated, and he's like, yep, you go, I go, you go, I go.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Oh, and then her attorney said, for the record, the best thing that we could do for her, that we did for her, was getting the death penalty removed from
That was a win. That was a win.
Yep. That was the only win that they could accomplish. And they did.
Oh yeah. And they did
But
it.
not for Chad. Yep. Pryor did not. For Chud. Nope.
Right. Well, he wanted Pryor, so
So what happens is if
Yeah.
you guys go, or if you want to say, I don't want to go up to Idaho and I want to go to a hearing with a judge here in Maricopa County,
Right.
then that's what that date is for on there, on this order to show cause.
Right.
For the 12th, 8:30.
Okay.
And then you'll go to the court and they'll tell them why you think you shouldn't have to go. And then
I would just call
And
her.
this is to testify.
it's for grand jury.
Okay.
Grand jury.
remember
process,
whenever
so it's
Jim Archibald called Ian a snitch?
information, not to testify in a trial or anything like that.
Right. They're just going to ask us
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah,
basically.
whatever it is you guys know.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. I mean, they've been kind of jerking us around. They've been saying they want to come down and talk to us, and they want to come down and talk to us, and then they never show up. And they never reach out. So they've reached out to our lawyer 3 or 4 times, and they just left us hanging. So.
No, I'm sure.
yeah, I understand. And then a lot of times when that judge will do that, I'll say, okay, well, you know, well, they want you up there.
Yeah,
so
we've got contact with them both out front. It's just waiting the process now.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna plug it up.
Just go there.
Just let me call. Yeah, let me make a quick phone call, and we'll just kind of get a feel for this, and then we'll leave right now.
Okay, yeah, great.
Hey, babe, you got
So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So they're serving a subpoena on both of them, Melanie and Ian. And Melanie and Ian are like, well, we need to talk with an attorney before we respond to this.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have that right? Like, or is it just we serve you
Don't
the
know.
subpoena and then you respond to it down the road? Like, if you want to respond to it with an attorney, you do that. But I don't understand why the law enforcement officers who are serving these are like engaging
that's
in a
true.
conversation about that. Like,
Yeah, you're just
serve it
supposed to
on 'em.
serve it and be done.
exactly. Yeah. You have been served.
Right. That's a process server.
Still explaining the
Yeah, exactly.
process to him. At this point, she's going to start loading the kids up.
That's
in the
interesting.
car.
Hey, so we're being subpoenaed right now to go and sit in front of a grand jury and share some information up for Fremont County. That would be May 18th. Yeah, that's what I just said. I said this is really irritating because they've been jerking us around for the last 3 months, saying they're going to come and talk to us, and now they're subpoenaing us. They want us to. So this is specifically to sit in front of a grand jury and share. It would be a sealed thing to share.
Wait. We're talking about the trial for the woman who is allegedly at that time responsible for the death of 2 children and the former spouse of her now husband. And the Fremont County prosecutor is quote unquote jerking us around for 3 months.
Yeah. Can you see them jerking around? I don't see them jerking around. That's why I was like, yeah, right. Okay.
I just saw
I can't see Lindsay Blake jerking around or Rob Wood.
I just saw a whole new aspect of Ian. Like I have remained unopinionated about him one way or the other, but I just formed an opinion about him based on that one sentence. Dude, they're trying to prosecute the murderers of children. Sorry, I said that. The red rooms, the unaliving of children, and you claim the prosecutor who is prosecuting that case is jerking you around. Oh,
right. Yeah, I'd like a response from Rob Wood and Lindsay Blake.
Yeah,
about that,
dude.
Because if anybody's been jerking around, it's been Ian and Melanie.
Right.
Yeah.
I just formed a whole different opinion about him that I was holding off on forming until he says that.
Yeah, I get it.
All right.
What we know with him. And so that would be May 18th. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks for doing that right before my family trial.
You're welcome.
And
Asshole.
we can waive our, so we have a hearing to contest it if we want on the 12th. Correct. So we can waive that, or we can go forward with it.
Okay. Let's see how she parents.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of extreme. Okay, so we're right.
They're all passive aggressive. Everyone
This doesn't make a whole lot of sense to us when they've been trying to talk to us and they're just dragging us up there. Okay, yeah, I'll send it up to you. So we've got a Chandler police officer here and a detective out here. No, they came to the door. I assume this is that lady that showed up 2 days in a row and then gave up after 2 attempts. But
I don't see a lady. Do you?
But yeah, we'll figure it out.
No.
Check. Right. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, so if we want to do the hearing, can we waive it later?
We're running across that before. Usually, I'll give people the paperwork, and then I have to know if you want to waive the hearing because they have to set the hearing, and make sure it's prepared for the hearing.
Okay.
So we give you an answer in like an hour or two, just so we can get the kids to school and.
Well, I mean, I can come back, but it's either waive the hearing and then you just go ahead and cooperate and you talk to the attorney up there, and make travel arrangements for the 18th, or you say I don't want to waive it and then you have to go to this hearing,
Yeah, that's the issue. We've been telling them. Yeah, I've got.
And that's all really the information I have. I don't really know what to. One way or the other, but people don't. I guess they don't usually get back to me. They just say yes, I will go, or take care of it, or yes, I will waive the hearing.
Yeah.
So.
We've been telling them we're willing to cooperate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been.
I would say maybe that's the easiest way to go is to waive the hearing and then go upside down and cooperate.
Right.
Because I don't know how often judges will look at that here. They know that authorities want you up in whatever state it is. So you say, yes, I understand your concerns, but they still need you up there. And so they're most likely to probably say you need to go,
Right.
I don't understand why there's so much back and forth. Subpoenas served. Walk away.
Yeah, I didn't realize that's you said it. So, I mean, it hadn't even crossed my mind. It's been a while since I've looked at it, too. But yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Catch you off guard or whatever the case is. But I assume you know
I wouldn't be
what's going
apologizing.
on, why they want to talk to
No,
us.
it's not
I
his
mean,
job.
and they've been in
It's his
communication with our lawyer
job
about
to
this
serve
for
the subpoena.
months, saying, hey, we want to come down and talk to them. They've been down here several times and have made no effort to talk to us. So it's just really stupid that they're now subpoenaing us, making us go up to Idaho in 2 weeks.
Okay, if
Rearing
you
all
think
of
it's
our
stupid
plans
or not, it doesn't
to make it
matter.
work for them when they've been down
Exactly.
here. Dude,
Just like his opinion of Melanie and the
Yeah, I'm not
investigation
sorry, I'm
into
not-
Lori and Chad.
It's just-
I'm not
He didn't-
bashing you guys. I'm
He
just
didn't
like,
even more into it. I'm like, who are
a lot of
you?
these guys do it, like, they need to get it together.
Right, yeah,
So
I get it.
this whole case has just been a freaking mess for us. So you know what? Yeah, would you be willing to come back in like an hour so we can get this to our lawyer and just, or even, you know, maybe I can drive over and we can come to the police department an hour and sign stuff for you, or
I guess those situations, if I'm not even in contact with you,
right?
then I'm just assuming,
We're good for it. We're not gonna do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be home all day.
So I mean, I'm fine with it.
We'll be out. We've
Okay,
got
I'm fine with
a lot
that.
of other things.
Okay, yeah, let's just get this over to our lawyer real quick, go over, you know, make sure everything's all good.
Do they want to give both copies to them now?
You got yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other, this is just the waiver form. So if you waive at the hearing, then that's
Do
how
you
you
wanna-
sign it, that's all.
Yeah, do you want to leave that with us too? And so, you know, if we just, you know, maybe swing back by, if we decide we want to just waive it, we'll have it ready for you, or, I mean,
Yeah.
It's just a signature.
oh, that's all it is.
That's just a lot.
That's fine.
It's not like
I don't have
taxes.
copies of it, so,
Okay, that's fine.
and that's all that is. And so,
Okay.
then, yeah, that's pretty much all. This is all just copies for the judge. And when the judge decides that's what he's gonna do, then he signs off.
Sure.
So,
All right.
yeah, I can stop back by. That's,
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. About
That works.
Yeah.
if I'm not able to make contact with you, then I'm just gonna assume that
That's fine. You know,
you're not waiving the hearing, and then you have to go to the hearing.
that's not a
Yeah.
problem.
Right, and then if you don't go to the hearing,
If you
then
can't make
there's
contact,
Yeah.
problems, right?
I don't understand why a process server through the Gilbert PD or whoever this is serving this on Ian and Melanie. He says, if I don't hear back from you, I have to assume you're unresponsive type of thing. Why is it his determination for that? Subpoenas are usually just served and you're
Right.
either responsive to them or you're not. And it's not
It's
up to the
grand jury
person that
subpoena. It's
yeah.
yeah. So what the hell? That's very
This is
curious. huh?
weird. It's weird. It's just bizarre to me. I don't get it.
Huh.
So,
yeah,
Makes
no
me
worries.
wonder.
It's just
It's
a bad
not,
time right now.
yeah, it's not that they're not willing to do it. It's just the way they're handling it is kind of weird.
It's just inconvenient.
So we just want to make sure that we're
but just so you know, like obviously this is happening and it's not gonna go away.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I stop people.
I'm traveling up there for my family.
Not going away.
Anyway, so I'll be in Idaho. It's not like, you know, so I got
That makes it easier.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll let you go and I'll come back in an hour.
Kids
Okay,
are
sounds good.
ripping each
Appreciate
other
it.
apart.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
That is bizarre.
Yeah. That was just bizarre to me. That doesn't make sense to my understanding of how process servers usually work. Like it goes through the local police station, usually local or county, whatever it is. They serve it and then they walk away and you respond to it through the court system, not through the person who served it. That was weird.
Interesting. Yeah, now I'm going to dig into it. I'm going to dig into it and see why. You know, maybe I'll run the transcript or something through the AI thing or whatever and see what it pokes out. I think it's very helpful for things like that.
But he did
and yes,
he did end up testifying, right?
huh?
He did
He
end
ended
up
up
testifying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I threw this up there because I was looking for where Jim Archibald called him a snitch, but I can't find it in the transcript. You know, like I'm searching the word out, but I can't find it. So,
Oh,
but this is interesting because it does pertain to Melanie when she was
And
due
he-
to testify.
he did wear a wire, right? At some point in time.
He had a thumb drive that the FBI gave him. Ricky Wright, who's actually testifying he's the FBI special agent, FBI. Ricky Wright. I think he's testifying in this upcoming trial, if I'm not wrong about that.
I think we saw a list of witnesses for the state. I think we've seen that, and now I got to pull it up. It's gonna
Okay,
take-
well, while you do that, I'm gonna play this because this does pertain to Melanie Boudreaux
All right.
and why she did testify in her aunt's first trial.
All right, the first matter I'll just take up
That's
is
low.
as it relates to exhibits
Can y'all
that were
hear
just
it?
admitted. In
It's
Very
low,
low.
but I can hear
I
it.
just got a administrative rule 71, which allows if the parties stipulate to have either dangerous or large or bulky exhibits represented by photograph.
Hold
There's
on.
been a photograph admitted into evidence of the gun, which the gun itself is exhibit 280.
Okay, hold on.
And those corresponding
While I
baffles,
find
278 and 279. I've
May
suggested
4th.
that upon looking at that rule that perhaps the parties want to agree that for
May.
purposes of the record of the case that those items would still be kept in custody of
Ah.
the state. However, for purposes of the
Damn it.
record of the case could be represented by photographs. So I wanted to ask, that needs to be done by stipulation of the party pursuant to the rule. Would the state
Oh, it moved on me.
inquiry after
observed or listened to any of the testimony in this case.
Here we
Actually,
go. Hold on.
information provided to defense, it was actually provided by the state based on information that came into our possession. However, there is absolutely no indication that this particular witness, Ian Pawlowski,
I'm
has
gonna find the-
reviewed or observed or listened to any
Right
of
up.
the testimony in this case. So to simply assume that his wife may have told him about anything she learned or observed or knew is a stretch. And so based on what the state has been told by Mr. Pawlowski, we do not see that there would be any issue with the exclusionary rule and would ask that he be allowed to testify.
Okay, counsel, what I'll do is take the issue under advisement pending an inquiry after Mr. Pawlowski's been placed under oath. I'll have him brought in to be questioned outside the presence of the jury at the end of the break here before the jurors are brought back in. So if we need to go into an in-depth line of questioning with him, we can do that without the jurors overhearing. Is there an issue with any other witness, Mr. Archibald?
Those are the issues with those two witnesses. Given that looking at the clock, doesn't look like we'll get to Melanie Pawlowski, but if they call Ian first, then we can do the inquiry with him.
All right. Does the state intend to call Melanie?
Hell
Your
yeah.
Honor, the state may intend to call her, but we would ask to take that up separate, given the separate issues involved and before her testimony.
Okay, so right now then.
What
we're still
separate
with the
issues
Ian
involved?
Pawlowski issue. We'll take that up at the end of the break. I gave, I think, about 30 minutes. So why don't we come back in at about 20 till, if you can have Mr. Pawlowski here ready to be sworn, and we'll start that inquiry before the jurors are brought back in and start that up here in a little over 20 minutes. So we'll be in recess until then. All rise.
Come on. Where is it even at?
Attorney to interject at any point in the proceedings.
All right. He's
I wish I could
ready
hear
to
him.
be here, and we'll have a seat assigned to him once he. All right, Mr. Pawlowski, you've been sworn. The court has entered in this case what's called an exclusionary order relating to a rule that does not allow witnesses to view or listen to other witnesses' testimony in the trial before they testify. There's been some concern that there may be an issue in regards to that order. The concern was brought forth by, well, information was provided by the state.
I
and the
found
defense
it.
has made an argument, so
Yeah.
I'll have a question or two of my own for you, and then you may also be examined first by the attorneys as we sort through that issue prior to your providing testimony in front of the jurors. So there's some indication that I guess your, would you just indicate on the record who your wife is?
Melanie Pawlowski.
Okay,
Mm.
and the information we had was that she had listened in or perhaps observed some trial testimony. Is that something you're aware of?
To my knowledge, she hasn't listened to anything. There was a point where her ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux, testified.
Hello.
And there's some ongoing litigation between Melanie and Brandon. And so there was some information that she read, I don't know if it was headlines.
Couldn't wait
that
for her?
She had concerns about. I didn't really get any details. There didn't seem to be anything of substance there for her. So all I knew is that he testified.
Okay. Have you personally listened to any of the testimony that's occurred in this trial?
No.
Have you read any of it anywhere on any news report, anywhere online?
I've seen headlines, as I've scrolled through my news feeds, but I haven't read anything.
listen to any kind of audio feed of any of the proceedings?
No.
All right, that concludes my line of questioning. Mr. Archibald, you raised the objection at this point. If you'd like to question the witness before he testifies, you can do so.
Oh yeah, I think this is where it is.
Mr. Pawlowski, you're married to formerly known as Melanie Boudreaux.
Yes.
And how long have you two been married?
Just about 4 years, 3.5 years now.
Were you in the same meeting where your wife met with FBI agent Doug Hart and prosecutor Lindsay Blake?
No, we were separate during those times.
And you came from, where do you live now?
Arizona, Mesa.
And you came here with Melanie how long ago?
We arrived on Monday.
And Mr. Pawlowski, if you could just forward
Yes,
to the
I'm sorry.
microphone, please.
We arrived Monday.
So you've been, this is your third day in Idaho?
Yes.
And have you and Melanie talked about this case?
Yes.
And Melanie made a statement to the prosecutor and the officer, the nail is already in Lori's coffin.
Objection, Your Honor. This is hearsay for this witness. He already indicated he was not in the room or present for any conversation.
Doesn't mean it wasn't said.
So my question is, did you hear her say that?
No.
Is that what she said to you?
No.
Has she ever said anything like that to you?
No.
Have you said anything like that to her?
No.
Now, you brought an attorney with you, right?
Yes.
And why is that?
This is just a complicated matter, and I just feel better navigating it with an attorney present.
Are you aware that your attorney was also here with another witness?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And did you talk to your attorney about what the other witness said?
No.
You understand that an attorney is legally and ethically obligated to tell his client everything.
Your Honor, I'm going to object here. I think that's a mischaracterization, and I think this is going well beyond the exclusionary issue.
I think
that
there's
we're
too
supposed to be
many
dealing with.
On the first ground,
closed
they're also
doors
saying that.
is what I think.
So you're claiming that your attorney, who was also here with another witness, did not.
Did you just say something?
Yeah, I agreed with you.
Oh,
I mean,
I was like, I don't know where that came from. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Garrett Smith was the attorney for Melanie Boudreaux, for Summer Shiflett, for Zulema Pastinez. Okay. Brandon sued him and another attorney for defamation and won $12 million. So I'm trying to understand this situation and why things went the way that they went. It's very peculiar. And
why? Why is it
right?
Why does it
Why
have to
are the kid
be?
gloves? Yeah.
Yes.
Why? And every one of
Makes
these
no sense.
people.
Yeah.
Not tell you anything about what the other witness said.
Objection asked and answered.
Hasn't been answered, but go ahead. You can answer that.
Sorry, could you restate that?
You're claiming that your attorney has not told you one thing about Zulema Pastinez' testimony here.
Correct.
Did you ask?
No.
He didn't tell you.
No.
However, in fast forward 1 year, Ian's testifying in Chad Daybell's trial, and Judge Boyce had to send Ian's attorney out of the room because of, I don't know, there was like some kind of suspicion, or could be him, like his attorney communicating with him while he's on the stand, while Ian's on the stand. I was like, what? I mean, just to watch that go down, it was kind of odd. It was peculiar, very sneaky, these ones here. Also, there was an attorney in the very beginning of this case when Lori and Chad were on the run, and they were resenting assertions that she was a good mother, or that people were saying that she wasn't a good mom. And, when we were asking, where are the kids? Where are the kids? Where are the kids? And his name was Sean Bartholick. And I had pulled up whenever Ian was married to Natalie Pawlowski, they got divorced in 2019. Interesting, right? And Rob Wood was the prosecutor in that case for the family case, and Sean Bartholick was Ian's attorney. And that's just so interesting to me that ended up being Chad Daybell's attorney and Lori's ultimately in the very beginning. So there's some kind of who knows who.
Yeah, and well, we also saw a lot of really quick marriages when people
Oh yeah,
got connected within that circle of people. So, how quickly did Ian and Melanie get
really date.
married?
Hmm.
Get married? I would like to know that.
They got married November 30th, 2019. The day after,
What?
listen, the
What?
day after Alex and Zalema got married in Vegas.
My gosh.
I shit you
That,
not. I shit you not.
oh, that's
It's
nuts.
odd. It's bizarre, right? I mean, come on, chat. Let us know. Because it's like, I feel like I'm being too conspiratorial, but I'm not. I don't
No,
know.
that's not coincidence. That is
No,
not
none of it.
coincidence. What
I
was that?
mean,
What
then you
was the
gotta,
date that what was the date that Brandon got shot at? October 2nd? Was that the
yep.
date?
Their divorce wasn't
And
final as of that time.
right, no, they were estranged, quote unquote
Mhm,
estranged at the time.
mhm.
Um, and then when did she and Ian get married?
November 30th, 2019, just after Thanksgiving.
That's less than 2 months later after her estranged husband got shot at by her aunt's brother. Well, so that would
Yep.
be her uncle, right? Alex was her uncle.
His uncle-in-law. Yeah,
Ugh,
and so he's recording and doing all this undercover brother work, for the FBI for some woman he just met. I don't think so. Something's going on here, and it stinks to the celestial damn room. Okay.
that's not coincidence. Like I grew
Mm-mm.
up reading Sherlock Holmes, and I like listen to Sherlock Holmes audiobooks like on a regular basis when I'm trying to fall asleep. And like you, like it's not
Look,
coincidence.
me
It's
living
not
on Cox
coincidence.
Road is a coincidence. Okay. My road being Cox Road is a effing
Right.
coincidence. But however, none of these people and their doings are okay. Just just saying. I knew you'd get a kick out of that. Well,
Uh,
I got it to analyze this report from Nate Eaton from EastIdahoNews.com provides live updates from day 21 of Lori Vallow Daybell's murder trial, specifically detailing the testimony of Ian Pawlowski, Lori's nephew-in-law. The testimony focuses on his interactions with Lori and Chad Daybell, their religious belief, and his eventual concerns that led him to cooperate with law enforcement. Key points of Ian Pawlowski's testimony and analysis. Relationship with Lori and Chad. Okay, it says Ian met Lori briefly between November 20th through the 25th of 2019. Married 6 days later, right? Shortly after he began dating Melanie Pawlowski, Lori's niece, he met Chad for the first time. He met Chad the first time he met Lori at the apartment next to Melanie's. That's because that was Lori's apartment. Lori and Melanie had a very close, supportive relationship to the point where Ian consulted Lori and Chad before asking Melanie to marry him. May I have her hand in marriage? Anyway, so Melanie viewed Chad and Lori as, quote, mother and father figures. She actually called Chad dad.
and
Nothing's,
Melanie Gibb called Lori what?
well,
Mother, mom,
Lori,
mother, mom.
yeah,
Melanie
mom.
Gibb called her, yeah, mom.
Yep,
Yeah.
and she was Phoebe, and I think, oh my God, what was Melanie Boudreaux's name? Miriam. Miriam was one of her other life names.
Ugh.
Oh yeah. So, all right, it says and was absolutely closer to Lori than Chad. And then it says exposure to beliefs and growing discomfort. Ian spoke with Lori less than a dozen times and Chad even fewer times. Lori discussed beliefs about possession and locking Satan away. This is where we got to Satan Taco. He first heard about the light and dark system from Melanie, who learned it from Chad. Lori later referred to it in conversations. As an LDS member, Ian was initially open to new teachings, especially after a rough divorce, but he quickly became, quote, not on board, unquote, with the light and dark rankings.
He
Crucially,
says
Lori,
not on board.
yeah,
He says not on board.
yeah, this is for, yeah. Crucially, Lori never mentioned JJ or Tylee to Ian, nor did she say where the kids were, though Ian saw children's backpacks and luggage in Lori's apartment. So this is the turning point in cooperation with law enforcement. Ian's major turning point came the morning after he married Melanie. Why they put December 5th, 2019 is beyond me, because it was November damn 30th. While staying at the Bellagio in Las Vegas, his daughter was briefly missing, which terrified him after Melanie, quote, dumped everything, unquote, on him about Lori and Chad's beliefs the night before. Worried for his
stop.
the daughter missing?
If you marry somebody and your daughter goes missing and you think it might have to do with the person that you just married, you
Here's
might
your
have
sign.
married the wrong person.
Here's your sign,
Oh.
Mr. Discernment.
Oh my God.
And
Like-
I'm supposed to trust this guy's opinion as to why he just stopped cooperating with law enforcement. Yeah, because he didn't see anything. Yeah. Okay, who are you? Who is you? You know?
Here's your sign.
Anyways. Yeah.
All right.
So again, I don't trust Ian because he's obviously not, he ain't got all his marbles or something. Okay.
There's
whatever.
something going on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
Okay, so it says, worried for his and his family's safety, Ian went to Rexburg police on December 5th. Police asked him to listen and observe and report back, and to make recordings for them. Content of recordings and attitudes towards law enforcement. Ian confirmed that Chad or Lori, that doesn't make sense, never confessed to a crime in the recordings. The recordings primarily contained their religious beliefs. Lori and Chad instructed Ian to cooperate as little as possible with law enforcement, displaying an quote-unquote arrogant, flippant attitude. Chad had a, quote, more serious tone, unquote, about getting out of town, while Lori maintained a, I'm surprised it doesn't say nonchalant. It says a lighthearted
Right.
attitude. Yeah. Exclusionary rule and Melanie's actions. A significant part of the testimony revolved around whether Ian and Melanie Pawlowski violated the exclusionary rule. Why? Because rules don't apply to Melanie Boudreaux. I'm telling you right now. You saw it when you watched her body cam footage when she showed up on Brandon Boudreaux's, her ex-in-law's property in American Fork, when she's asking for a victim's advocate more than once, and she's asking for her children, whom were marked, two of them were marked dark. Brighton and Blake were marked dark. And Chad was working on their percentages just like he had with Tammy, Charles, Tylee, and JJ. They were dead or about to be. All in the same time frame, you know. So it just, anyways, I don't understand this, how they can be treated with such kid gloves. Who do they know and who do they blow, basically? So who's their boss? Okay. Witnesses cannot listen to testimony or read/watch trial coverage. Melanie Pawlowski admitted to violating the rule. I mean, did she? Or did she through Ian again? You know, like everything's through Ian. He's like the gatekeeper. Melanie Pawlowski admitted to violating the rule by listening to testimony and reading headlines, especially after her ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux, testified.
Wow.
Ian, yeah, because they just got it like that. That's wow. Reading this just pisses me off all over again.
The rules do
reminds
not
me.
apply to her and her and her
Yes.
and her and him.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Ian stated that he had only seen headlines and not read or watched anything. The defense, Archibald, argued that because Melanie violated the rule and discussed the case with Ian, Ian should also be excluded. Amen. Judge Boyce, after questioning Ian, determined he had not violated the exclusionary rule, allowing him to testify, as if Ian's telling the truth. Okay? The state may call Melanie as a separate issue, but they did not. Okay? Just let you know. Spoiler alert. Ian's demeanor and cross-examination. Ian brought his own attorney to court due to the complicated matter. He denied his attorney told him anything about Zulema Pastina's testimony. He denied hearing Melanie say, quote, "The nail is already in Lori's coffin," unquote. The defense's cross-examination focused on the recordings Ian made for law enforcement. And because they weren't played, the defense requested they be retrieved for their review. Overall analysis, Ian Pawlowski's testimony provides an insider's perspective. I don't think so. Like, because it's useless. Okay. Sorry. Provides an insider's perspective on Lori and Chad Daybell's radical religious beliefs and their disdain for law enforcement during late 2019. His detailed account of Melanie's increasing indoctrination and his own horrifying realization of the danger after the Bellagio incident paints a valid picture of the cult-like atmosphere. The fact that Lori and Chad instructed him to withhold information from police despite not confessing to crimes in his recordings speaks to their conspiratorial mindset.
No. That's a spin. That's a spin that I don't agree with.
Okay. The fact that
I'm not saying I don't agree with
there. Yeah.
I'm just saying Ian is not.
He don't have to answer. He's exalted. You might as well say, just like Melanie.
I think he's given us a couple of insights into where he's coming from in this, and I'm not okay with where he was coming from in this until he was backed into a corner, until he had no choice.
Every one of them, Joe. Melanie Boudreaux, Melanie Gibb too. David Warwick as well.
Yep.
Nobody came forward and said, hey, this is not cool. Even Christina Atwood, who said and even testified to the fact that if Lori would poison Mongo again or dope him up without his knowledge again, she would go to the cops, but she did not. I mean, what? It's like all talk. It's like they're doing one thing and they're saying the total opposite. It's so weird.
Yeah.
And it really stands out, with these people. They're all about the facade, what it looks like, the appearances, the skin deep.
And acting upon your words would have made a huge difference in this case.
I mean,
it would have made
I would look at
difference.
Somebody totally differently. I'd have I'd have a respect for them somewhat. I mean, come on, I can only imagine because that never happened here. But yet people are like, oh, well, basically don't go after Melanie Gibb. I mean, she did the best she could. Bullshit. Okay. Okay. No. Maybe to you. I mean, maybe because your family's not dead. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I'm just saying, like, these, especially the kids, they had no say-so in this. None. And all the adults around them, especially their mother, betrayed them. The ultimate betrayal. Like, it was that's the ultimate betrayal. That's your mother. But here we are, every one of the adults around them let them down. And that's pathetic. So the court's discussion regarding the exclusionary rule, particularly Melanie's admitted violation and Ian's careful navigation of the rule, highlights the defense's attempts to discredit witnesses and the prosecution's efforts to ensure the integrity of the trial. Ian's testimony, even without direct confessions to murder, significantly bolstered the prosecution's narrative by illustrating the extreme beliefs and manipulative tactics employed by Lori and Chad and the fear they instilled in those around them. His cooperation with law enforcement and the recordings he made were crucial for the ongoing investigation. I don't agree with this thing either. Even if the recordings themselves didn't contain explicit confessions. Okay, whoopity-doo.
Wait, fear?
I'm just-
Okay, no. Fear? Who did Chad instill
I don't
fear
know.
in? Chad didn't
I think
instill fear
they're
in anybody.
I think they're
Chad
in
would,
the same secret society. I'm telling you, Joe, that's what this is. And it's like they all
yeah,
took an oath.
if somebody's scared of something, they're not scared individually of Chad. I mean, maybe individually of Lori, like on a personal basis, because she could she could raise a stink when she didn't get her way, but like fear of losing her life doesn't come down unless it's an organizational fear of
Systematic, or of losing their
yes.
temple recommend, or being excommunicated, because these people, they want to speak out, but then they say, oh, it's a cult, they have their own beliefs, but then they don't really speak out about them. It's so weird. It's so weird, and it's so difficult to navigate around. Here we are 6 years later. We should be, I mean, way further in this, I believe. But again, most of the clarification and answers to questions I've had, I've gotten them from doing my own research. I've gotten them from meeting up with you guys weekly and just talking about it, you know? And for people who have left the system and who have, or they're just real with themselves, you know, they're just being honest, because that's all we need, is just for honesty, for people to treat others the way they want to be treated, you know? Yeah.
Janelle makes a good point.
Yeah, I'm reading that.
So they instilled fear through deeming people dark.
That's true.
But
I mean, I felt fear.
if one of my family members right now told me you're dark, I wouldn't be afraid. I'd be like, oh, and so
especially after Alex died, right? That was their hitman, right? But I always say, what about the rest of them?
Yeah, I gotta wait for my little brother to pass away, because he's the hitman in the family.
Oh yeah.
Just kidding.
Right.
I mean, but
and there's so many people. Like,
I mean,
how many here actually believe that Alex died of natural causes, or was it self-induced? Was it Zelema induced? You know, like a lot of people, my parents mainly, they're like, I'll never believe it.
I ran into people at the trial that thought that it was malachite powder induced. Like
you know what? Okay. Joe. I'm stuttering because I got excited. Lori, who was a devout Mormon, right? She actually had, I remember finding a receipt for a French press. You know what a French press is?
Yep.
It grinds up coffee beans and things like that. And so it made me wonder, you know, I mean, of course, murder's against the rules too, but here she was, right? Sacrificing people. Semantics, right? But I'm saying, what if they use the French press to grind up malachite, or perhaps the coffee bean? I don't really know. There's all kinds of things.
The person that I ran into at the trial actually believed that very firmly, that is what caused his pulmonary embolism.
A lot of people think that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was somebody else I ran into that's like, you can't do that. That's not a thing. So
it is a thing. I mean, I've read stories. I've researched into this myself independently of YouTube, you know. I mean, it just takes a little dust, but I mean, once it's polished, yes, it's hard. Oh, okay. Joanne says, French press isn't a grinder. It's a coffee maker. I thought it was grinding up like
no,
coffee
it
beans.
doesn't. It doesn't. No, it doesn't grind stuff. What it does is you put the grounds or the powder in the bottom, and then you pour in hot water, or you could pour in cold water, and then you have a sieve or a filter that you press down on top of that.
It's really beautiful process. I mean, I watched videos on it.
And then the liquid, and then the infused liquid comes out on top of that filter. But it doesn't grind anything. It just infuses something with
Gotcha.
whatever grounds you have in the bottom of it.
Okay, I see everybody commenting. Thank y'all. So Huggy Bear says it can be poisonous. Green also has a meaning in Mormonism, which I mean, we're saying that because green was, I mean, this was brought up in Lori's trial. Green was their color, their team color, I'll just say. Tuesdays were their favorite day of the week. Okay. What else? What else? There's meaning behind like this Raphael. Okay, the seven angel, you know what I'm saying? Like the archangels, the what else? I'm trying to think. I can't. Oh, but I mean they had those different missions that they had to do, the 7 missions. Build camps in the northern Arizona White Mountains, which Mike Stroud lives there. And it actually is creating a community in the White Mountains, if you will. I'm like, well, there you go. That's Mike Stroud. And it was so interesting when Lori said that when her and Chad were debating whether Mike Stroud was, I guess, on the team or not, light or dark, I don't know. But they were going back and forth. And they said, I forget who said it, Lori or Chad, but yes, he's done a good infiltration job on the church or something like that. It's something along those lines. And Mike Stroud was Jason Mao's seminary teacher. Mike Stroud was the speaker the same weekend that Chad and Lori sealed in the temple, that November 16th through 18th. I have the speech. He says, hey, Chad, Thor, Mike, Jason. He calls them out right there in the beginning. Oh, Carolyn Hughes says, I heard a theory over the weekend. Bring it, sister.
Right.
Well, whenever Alex died, they had found the police went through and they told Zelema that, it was a crime scene. She was like, why? She did not understand that. Okay. And, they found blowtorches and interesting things. I don't know. It's very interesting. I mean, he was only married to her for like 12 days. Alex was her 6th husband, her 6th marriage. So I plan on doing a deep dive into all these people. And
For
they're
real?
preparing
That
a
was
couple of
Zulema.
flyers.
He was Zulema's 6th husband.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! Like she's got one up on Lori at this point.
You'll be okay, Vicky. Yeah, as long as it's polished and yeah, malachite jewelry. She's like, oh my god, I have malachite jewelry. They believe that malachite has healing properties, and I mean maybe so. Whatever. I'm to each their own. They try to destroy everything. Okay, so I'm just saying. This is what we have. This is what we have to go on, Unicorn Rancher says, blow torches for her kids doing dabs. I mean, her son's name was Joe. And I mean, he had gotten into a little bit of trouble too. I want to say it had something to do with the Uber and a younger girl under age. And it made the news in Arizona where y'all are at. Are all of the exes DEA? Are they DEA? Or dead? I don't know if you're missing a D there or if they're drug enforcement agency. That's I'm like, what? Their first glow in the dark, Huggy Bear. Yeah. I think. That's interesting, huh? Well, I know, right? Okay. I know.
If Zulema murdered Alex, she wasn't alone in that.
Right. It's like I wonder if he went to Mexico to pick that up. I have no idea. And I mean, when the authorities are reporting back that, hey, no, it's natural causes. I mean, I'm gonna believe that until I mean, I can't I can't dispute that. But it seems like there's something that Chad and Lori have knowledge of, that perhaps these dark individuals, these people who are practicing this kind of religion, so to speak, maybe there are things that can be administered that do cause these things. I don't know, you know, I wasn't there. Thank God. So let me get back to this timeline. Okay, so we go to, I'm gonna start here. 7:19 a.m. Alex starts traveling towards Brandon's house. Yeah, we ain't even got to the damn shooting yet. 7:20 a.m. Brandon Boudreaux left his home to drop off his oldest children at school and to exchange the younger kids with their mother, Melanie. 7:53 p.m. a.m. Not p.m. Let me change that. Damn it. Alex and Chad's burner phones communicate as Alex and Chad's burner phones communicate. And then 8:02 a.m., Alex's personal cell phone, which Lori Vallow had in Idaho, texts Lori's personal cell phone. So Alex's phone that's in Idaho actually texts Lori's phone that's also in Idaho, and it has a 23-minute phone call between the two phones. The police report notes that all of this correspondence occurred while Alex's burner phone was at Brandon's property. So Brandon's allegedly at Brandon Boudreaux's house, laying in wait, and his burner phone puts him there, GPS, coordinates, location, all that stuff. But yet Alex's primary device is in Idaho at Lori's apartment, which is odd. I remember looking all this stuff up last night. And it's noted. It's like Lori had, let's say Lori's holding both phones, hers in one hand and Alex's in the other, and she purposely calls her own phone from her brother's phone, and there's a 23-minute phone call. Okay. How sneaky is that? That is some sneaky stuff, in my opinion. Let's see. Okay. All right. 9:13 a.m. Brandon Boudreaux returned to his home. He noticed the vehicle was parked out in front of his home. When Brandon Boudreaux passed the vehicle, the individual inside of the vehicle fired a shot toward the driver's side front window, hitting the vehicle just inches above Brandon's head. At 9:15 a.m., Brandon Boudreaux places a 911 call reporting that he has just been shot at outside of his home at 3875 East Phelps Street in Gilbert, Arizona. And again, here's the bullet shatters the driver's side. Hold on. Do I have? Okay. Yeah, here you go. All right. I didn't know if you had it back up there yet because I wanted to show you this. That's one of Trace's pictures. I don't have the one of Melanie's house, but she would go by Melanie's house. Anyways, you can see it. These pictures made me smile. Okay. Back in the day. All right. So here's the bullet hole right here. And you can see right here, the van, the Jeep was nose to nose with this van right here. So there's the van that Brandon reported was right there too. So I find that interesting. Okay. He believes the attack was orchestrated by Lori Vallow and her brother, Alex Cox. Brandon said that only 5 people knew where he lived, as it was a newer home, and Melanie was one of them. 9:19 a.m. to 9:25 a.m., Alex's burner phone travels southbound away from Brandon's home and makes 2 calls to Chad Daybell's burner phone. And after the shot was fired, Brandon accelerated westbound on Phelps Street. At Cole Drive, he turned north and saw the suspect Jeep Wrangler continue north on Cole, then east on Waite Lane and south on Fisher Lane. Brandon briefly followed but turned back toward home. The Jeep was last seen heading south on Fisher Lane, possibly exiting via East Fairview to Pecos Road. 9:57 a.m. Crime scene secured. Officer Yarbrough arrives and establishes crime scene tape around the immediate vicinity of the shooting. Officer Robb arrives on scene and documents the shattered window and glass debris on the driveway. 10 a.m. Evidence recovery. Investigators collected bullet fragments from the Tesla's door frame and a freshly smoked cigarette found 10 feet across the street from where the Jeep had been seen, possibly discarded by the shooter or an accomplice. And so, I mean, I never knew Alex to smoke, but hey, I mean, you're not supposed to murder people either. So 10:28 a.m. The Gilbert Police Department's Violent Crimes Unit formally assumes control of the investigation. At 1 p.m., Detective Mark Rendall canvasses homes for doorbell and exterior camera footage that may show 1:25 to 1:32. That doesn't make sense. 1:25 to 1:32 p.m. Chad and Lori are captured by surveillance cameras at Self Storage Plus in Rexburg. They arrive in the same car and carry a wheel and back seat from the Jeep Wrangler into Lori's storage unit. Okay, 2:36 p.m. scene closure, and 8:42 p.m. Alex and Chad's burner phones communicate for a final time near Green River, Utah. 8:46 p.m. to 8:53 p.m. Lori's Gmail account performs multiple searches related to the attempted shooting. It Googles man shot in Gilbert, AZ, man shot in Gilbert, AZ 10/2/2019. AVC News, Brandon Boudreaux, spelled incorrectly.
Okay, can we talk a second about the burner phone? Because this report is stating, like, as a matter of fact, that he had a burner phone, and it makes sense to all of us. But have we seen it? Have we seen any actual evidence?
Okay, listen to this.
Phone?
I haven't got to edit this all the way, but I was making this last night and it started raining and I stopped. So we're going to start with August 10th, 2019. According to the Rexburg Police Department, Alex Cox purchased a gun. August 31st, 2019. Lori, Tylee, JJ, and Alex moved to Rexburg, Idaho. September 2019. Custody battle and religious shift. Melanie Boudreaux and Brandon are engaged in a contentious custody dispute. Melanie remains an active member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but reportedly begins aligning with the radical apocalyptic beliefs promoted by her Aunt Lori and Lori's partner, Chad Daybell, via the Church of the Firstborn. September 11th, 2019. Alex Cox pawned items at Pawn 1 in Ammon, Idaho. He listed address in Rexburg, Idaho. September 17th, 2019. Brandon Boudreaux sees JJ Vallow and lets Kay Woodcock know that he's okay. This is important. Melanie Boudreaux asks Brandon Boudreaux for his new address. September 23rd, 2019. Brandon Boudreaux signs new lease on a rental home. September 25th, 2019, Alex Cox takes the Jeep Wrangler to get the windows tinted in preparation for the attempted murder of Brandon Boudreaux. Also on September 25th, 2019, Brandon Boudreaux moves into his rental home in Gilbert, Arizona. September 26, 2019 at 12:31 p.m., Melanie Boudreaux leaves for Rexburg, Allegiant Flight 608. 3:25 p.m., Melanie Boudreaux arrives in Rexburg. Brandon Boudreaux tells Kay Vallow Woodcock that he found out from his son that Lori moved out of state. Alex Cox activates a burner phone in preparation for the attempted murder of Brandon Boudreaux. September 28, 2019. I know that because I listened to the testimony from Ricky Wright last night. Alex Cox visits the Unified Sportsman Gun Range in Rexburg in preparation for the attempt on Brandon's life. Now, we're going to quickly cut over to FBI Special Agent Ricky Wright. We're going to focus on his role in the investigation and the evidence he presented. Key findings from location data and investigation. Special Agent Wright presented a meticulous analysis of Alex Cox's device location data, spanning September and October of 2019, to establish a timeline of events critical to the case. I'm just going to focus on the ones that are pertinent to the Brandon Boudreaux conspiracy. The first one I want to point to is the window tinting and vehicle search. Alex Cox's device showed visits to Dan's window tinting in Rexburg 3 times in September, once on September 23rd and twice on September 25th. These short stops were consistent with dropping off and or picking up a vehicle after services are rendered. A search of Tylee Ryan's Jeep conducted on December 18, 2019, revealed that it had tinted windows. Receipts found in the Jeep included one from October 1st, 2019, get this, from a restaurant in Mesa, Arizona. October 1st, Mesa, Arizona. October 1st, Mesa, Arizona. I know.
Oh.
And another one from October 18th, 2000.
What? I didn't know.
October 1st,
Yeah.
Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out his data points as far as travel. You know, like when did he get there? So that's
19 from a Chick-fil-A.
Oh, let me go back. Ooh.
19 from a Chick-fil-A in Ammon, Idaho. This would be the same night that Tammy Daybell died. So if you think about it, it's pretty compelling and disgusting to learn that Alex Cox, after the murder of Tylee Ryan, the dismemberment, the burning, all the things, the burying her parts in Chad Daybell's backyard, Alex Cox worked up a hunger for Del Taco. Well, the night of Tammy's murder, he went and dined at Chick-fil-A
and he looked up trannies. I'm just saying.
in Idaho.
What?
So that's pretty disturbing. That's one thing.
Yep. He sure did. I remember whenever it was at Lori's trial and what's his name? Thomas, her other defense attorney, he was questioning Vince Giacomo, who worked for Fremont County Sheriff. He was the lead investigator on that, in that investigation. And he pressed Giacomo for other Google searches. And then he was like, well, I didn't see that they were pertinent to the investigation. But after Tammy died, or after, I believe they were, like, after they did the deed, then Alex Googled trannies and porn and all kinds of shit. So if you must know,
Dined at Chick-fil-A.
I didn't need to know that.
Yep. Yeah, you did.
Dined at Chick-fil-A in Ammon, Idaho. So that's pretty disturbing. That's one thing I didn't know. Here comes a thunderstorm. Here we go.
You can hear it.
Hopefully you'll be able to hear me over the thunderstorm that is moving in right now. Sorry in advance. So Alex Cox's device showed visits to Dan's window tinting in Rexburg 3 times, September 23rd and twice on September 25th. These short stops were consistent with dropping off or picking up a vehicle after services are rendered. A search of Tylee Ryan's Jeep conducted on December 18, 2019, revealed that it had tinted windows. Receipts found in the Jeep included one from October 1st, 2019, from a restaurant in Mesa, Arizona. So October 1st, 2019, restaurant.
I think I repeated it. I'm sorry. Like I said, I didn't get to edit it.
Mesa,
It's all right. It's all right.
From October.
I have a
18,
Jeep.
2019.
I got my Jeep Wrangler windows tinted too.
Mm-hmm.
But I did it all in one shot. I did so the back windows are already tinted, and the back window, I guess if you have a hard top, you can get that back window tinted even more, but it's mostly the front windows and the windshield that you can get tinted. But I guess maybe it was a hard top. I think it was.
It was a hard top. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they could get the back window tinted too.
There are crime scene photos that were taken from July 11, 2019, when Charles was murdered. And I mean, like, not directly, just the Jeep was in the garage
and they did take photos of it. I saw them, and you can see that there's no tint. So it's just kind of interesting to know that from July, and then here they are in September, you know, getting the windows tinted so that he could lay
Right.
low in the back of the Jeep, undetectable, allegedly. So he thought. Chick-fil-A in Ammon, Idaho. The night Tammy Daybell was murdered. Burner phones and location data. The investigation revealed 2 additional prepaid track phones associated with Alex Cox. One was purchased at Walmart in Idaho Falls on September 25th, 2019. So there you go. But interestingly, Melanie Boudreaux showed up in Rexburg, Idaho. They have the Allegiant 608, the flight number, where she went September 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. She returned. So just know that, you know, like he got this September 25th. Walmart in Idaho Falls on September 25th, 2019 at 7:10 p.m. Alex Cox's primary device was at that Walmart at that very time. So just makes me wonder. The Melanie flew in this very day. So it makes me wonder if she flew in the next day. So I didn't know what I was talking about. If she
Right. But when did he purchase the burner phone?
September 25th.
Okay.
The day before.
In Rexburg? In Rexburg?
Yeah. Walmart.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Idaho Falls Walmart, actually. It's to Walmart to buy said phone. So don't. Anyways, we'll find out soon. Okay, so Alex Cox's primary device was at that Walmart at that time. So that's how they know. They pinpointed, located Alex Cox's personal, like his primary phone was with him at that same Walmart when he purchased the damn burner phone. The first one. So another burner phone, another track phone was purchased at Walmart in Rexburg on October 8th, 2019 at 3:25 p.m. So that was for Tammy's. That was in preparation for Tammy's. And somebody the other day, I forget where I heard this, but somebody said that this is whenever Lori exclaimed allegedly to Zalema that, like Alex can't do anything right. But that was for Tammy's. That was for Tammy's. It had nothing to do with Brandon. So I
thought, honest to God, I thought that was for Brandon. Like I thought Chad texted her, she texted him, he can't do anything right.
I mean, maybe so, but that's not, I mean, I don't remember that. Not for Brandon's, because they were together.
Gotcha.
Alex,
so for
Lori
people
and
who,
Chad were together.
yeah. So for people who don't know, Idaho Falls is about a half an hour southwest of Rexburg. So
yeah, it's right there.
Yep, right there.
Mm-hmm. So in this case, Alex Cox's primary device was also at that Walmart at that time. God, it's pouring in that. From September 30th to October 2nd, 2019, this is important. Alex Cox's primary device did not return to his... You heard that thing hit my window? It said, pow. Anyways. Did not return to his apartment, Unit 107, instead staying at Lori Vallow's apartment, Unit 175, for 3 nights. This coincided with the attempted shooting of Brandon Boudreaux in Arizona on October 2nd, 2019, though Special Agent Wright noted that Alex Cox's device did not leave Idaho during this period. Okay. So yeah, that's all I got recorded on that. It was pouring. So I pulled it up too, and we can hear him talk about it. He's got one of those voices that makes it lulls me to sleep. He sounds like Scruff McGruff. I don't know.
Resided at the Daybell.
That's what it reminds me of.
Residence.
The only person I'm aware that he knew was Chad Daybell.
Did you also look at some data points associated with window tinting?
Yes. Some of the activities that this device, places that it seemed to have gone was a particular window tinting place in Rexburg. And I saw it visit the window tinting place 3 times, although briefly each time. The first time was on September 23rd, 2019. And so this is the afternoon after the device had been at the Daybell residence. And so, this was from 1353 to 1958. It went to this Dan's window tinting at 2551 West, 6800 South in Rexburg.
And I think you may have said 1958. Was it 1358?
Yes, I'm sorry. It was from 1353 to 1358.
So just a 5-minute stop.
Yes.
Thank you. And then proceed.
And then on September 25th, 2019, from 9:02 to 9:03, it returned to that same Dan's window tinting. And then later that day, it was there again from 11:57 to 11:59.
And could those short stops be consistent with someone dropping a vehicle off to get window tinting put on?
It could be, yes.
And you'd previously talked about being aware of an attempted shooting of Brandon Boudreaux. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
Do you know when that attempted shooting occurred?
Yes, it happened on the morning of October 2nd, 2019.
What are we seeing in this slide?
So the images on the right of the vehicle is a Jeep that belonged to Tylee Ryan. This vehicle was a search of the vehicle was conducted by the Rexburg Police Department, I believe, about December 18th of 2019. And the FBI's evidence response team in Salt Lake assisted with processing this vehicle. And
I didn't know that.
I was not present during this search. And at a later time, as I reviewed photographs taken during the search, I noted there were some receipts taken by the evidence response team of 2 receipts that they had located within the vehicle. And I further scrutinized those two receipts and obtained some information off of them.
And was there information on those receipts that caught your attention?
Yes, both of the receipts possibly had some significance. The first receipt on the right there was a receipt from October 1st, 2019 at 13:12. And it was from a restaurant in Mesa, Arizona called Los Favoritos. And it was for for food and a beverage. And it was a cash transaction in the amount of $886. The second receipt was from October 18th, 2019 at 8:05 p.m. And it's from Chick-fil-A in Ammon, Idaho, also for food and a beverage. And it was a cash transaction in the amount of $8.15.
And when we look at this Jeep, can you tell if the windows appear to be tinted?
Yes, they do.
And when we talked about the device going to the window tint shop for the first time, do you recall the date that device first showed up at the tinting shop?
Yes, September 23rd, 2019.
And was that after that device had been up in the vicinity of Chad Daybell's property?
Yes.
Up in the vicinity.
Do you know where the attempted shooting of Brandon Boudreaux took place?
Yes, it took place at the residence where Brandon Boudreaux was residing in Gilbert, Arizona, in front of his house.
And again, the date of that attempted shooting?
October 2nd, 2019, in the morning, roughly 9 a.m., I believe.
And with regard to that second receipt, was there something significant about October 18th of 2019?
Yes. On the night of October 18th, 2019 into October 19th, 2019, Tammy Daybell died at her residence.
As part of your investigation, did you also look into some devices that were purchased?
Yes, I did. So in the course of this investigation, we found additional devices that were associated with Alex Cox and others in this investigation. Two particular devices were possibly associated with Alex Cox, and I did some follow-up investigation to obtain more information on those two devices.
And what did you learn in relation to those two devices?
Yes, the first device was a track phone, and we found that it was associated with the same Homer J. Maximus as the Verizon phone that I was reviewing. So a person can associate multiple phones with their Google account.
Really?
And so there was another phone number associated with that Google account.
What? Is that you?
Homer J. Maximus.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yep. Yep. Alex, I mean, his phone is a snitch, basically. You know,
That's the first time I remember hearing that. Yeah.
Yep. Homer J. Maximus. Absolutely. It's interesting. And it's just like Barry with his Warrior and his emails and his Gmail accounts or whatever.
Lord
I don't know
have mercy
Gmail,
on
but
us all.
oh yeah. Going to hell in a handbasket. That's so weird.
Hey, she's already
we obtained additional information from
Look, Larry back there with his dark glasses on.
Right.
Yep.
track phone regarding that device. And although we did not recover that device, we found that it was a prepaid cellular phone purchased from a Walmart in Idaho Falls on September 25th, 2019, and it was purchased at 1910. The phone number for that particular device was 304-960-5958. I was notified about this device and a second device by I don't recall if it was Nick Balance or analyst Nikki Heidemann who was reviewing these records. But this second device was a device that was actually recovered from Lori Vallow's, that had been in Lori Vallow's residence at Unit 175. And the Rexburg Police Department had obtained that device from the property management company who had disposed of items within her apartment after it had been vacated.
After the cops went there?
In approximately January of 2020, they were disposing of property in that location.
Judge, I'm going to object at this point. I've allowed a bit of a narrative, but this is becoming into levels of hearsay and speculation. And
I'll sustain that on a narrative objection.
Through the investigation, did you learn that a cell phone had been recovered from Lori Vallow's apartment?
Yes.
And did you ultimately discuss that with other investigators?
Yes.
And did you discuss the information they had regarding that cell phone?
Yes.
And what did you learn from them?
That the device was given to them by the property management company.
Judge, I'm going to object. It's hearsay.
Your Honor, if I may respond.
Respond.
It's not coming in for the truth of the matter. It's coming in for why this investigator did what he did next within the investigation.
On that point, I am going to overrule the objection, so you can continue.
And what did you learn from the other investigators regarding that device?
Just that they had located a device.
Judge, I'm going to object. That is hearsay.
That's sustained.
Based on what you learned from the other investigators, what, if anything, did you do in relation to that device?
I was given track phone records that we obtained that showed that device had been purchased from a Walmart in Rexburg, Idaho. And I went there for both of these two devices and recovered receipts for those, the purchase of those records. The purchase of those phones.
Did you do that based on the information you obtained from other law enforcement officers?
Yes, they gave me the track phone records.
And that was a track phone that other investigators had recovered?
One of these two phones had been recovered by other investigators. The other one was just associated with a Google account.
And the one recovered by the investigators was deemed to have significance or potential significance to this investigation?
Judge, argumentative. Objection.
It hurts my client.
Overruled.
Could you ask the question again, please?
Was the device recovered determined by other investigators to potentially have significance to this investigation?
Yes.
And was it based on that information that you then took your next actions?
Yes.
And what information did they provide you in relation to that phone?
The records we got from Track Phone was just indicated that it was a prepaid phone from Track Phone, and where it was purchased and when.
And you indicated that you recovered the receipts associated with both of these devices?
Yes, I did.
Your Honor, I have what's been marked as State's Exhibit 227A and 220.
Okay, we could go on and on and on. That's a whole trial.
It is. There was a whole trial. What
It
happened from
was.
that? How did that turn out?
Nothing. They got the guy, but damn. It's like, it's kind of like with Lori here, it's like, I'd rather know that Melanie Boudreaux was being on trial, for doing what she's, in my opinion, done. But, here we are just still in the deal for Lori. Anyways, it's interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody wants to label Lori Cold Mom, right? The Cold Mom Killer. That's her nickname. Yep. But the only people that have been convicted, that have even been charged,
are her and
Chad. That's it. Two people don't make a cult. Two people do not make a cult.
Exactly. No. Yep. It's very I appreciate it, but it's like, come on, y'all. Stop trying to bump up your careers, okay? Can we just really clean the streets a little bit better? Make some people safer. It just make people maybe think twice before just being so quote unquote gullible.
Protect some kids, maybe.
Yeah, protect some kids, maybe. Could be your own,
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. So, okay. I'm trying to get down here. I'm going to go to October. Okay, yeah, well, that's where we were anyways. October 3rd, 2019. At 4:28 a.m., the Jeep Wrangler is seen driving northbound on U.S. Highway 20 near Rexburg. I can hear your thing. You want to say something? Or did you just mute? Sorry if you did.
I'm muted. Here we go. I'll do the silent mute.
Okay, well, that usually kind of prompts me to, let me know that you're about to say something. Okay, except for that time. 7:23 a.m. continued canvassing door to door. What? This is mixed up. Sorry, hold on. 9:30 a.m. on October 3rd, Melanie Boudreaux was interviewed by Gilbert police and denies knowledge of the shooting and is unable to explain the details of her day on 10/2/2019. She confirms her relationship with Lori and Alex, but denies that they are close. She also does not want to share their phone numbers because she believes their phones could be tracked and listened to. On October 3rd, 2:11 to 2:14 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, Alex Cox and Lori Vallow are captured by surveillance cameras at the Self-Storage Plus in Rexburg. They remove a single vehicle wheel with tire and what appeared to be a back seat from Lori's storage unit. Y'all, we legit
I'm not even playing. We legit thought that it was a tote with a body hanging out of it. The kids were missing. Okay. When we got to see this actual video shared by East Idaho News on March 12th, 2020. So the kids weren't found until June 9th, 2020. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I remember this like it was yesterday, but we'll watch it. Oh, and we'll turn it up.
Surveillance footage from Self Storage Plus in Rexburg. This is the facility where Lori Vallow went on October 1st to rent a storage unit, and inside she placed some very personal belongings, such as children's bikes, scooters, also some photo albums, and blankets with pictures of her children, JJ and Tylee. Lori and sometimes 2 men visited the facility 9 times in October and 1 time in November. The big question is what happened on October 2nd. We know that Lori rented the unit by herself the day before on the 1st, but on October 2nd, she came in her blue Nissan Rogue with a man we originally thought was Alex Cox, her brother. But a closer look of enhanced high-quality video shows it likely was not Alex. In fact, it appears to be Chad Daybell, based on the way he walks, looks, and comparing his mannerisms to other video we have of him. Let me walk you through this. The blue Rogue arrives at 2:25. You can see the timestamp says 1:25, but that's because the clocks were off, according to the facility. Lori is driving the Rogue and makes her way to the door of the building where her unit is. She gets out 2 minutes later at 2:27 with the man we believe is Chad. At 2:29, he pulls a tire out of the back of the Rogue and rolls it into the storage unit. Then 1 minute later, he and Lori both carry in together what appears to be a removable car seat. They put it in the locker, shut the door, and leave the facility at 2:32. Their entire visit is just 7 minutes. So why does this matter? Well, that same day, Brandon Boudreaux says that he was shot at in Gilbert, Arizona around 9:30 that morning while coming home from the gym. Brandon,
so you see how they're dressed? You know, they participate in all these events like Operation Underground Railroad. You see what I'm saying? Like, I remember, oh my God, I'm sorry about my voice. I remember hearing early on in the case that, and this is on JS for Justice, it was Carl Danger who reported it. They have the Facebook group True Crime Underground, I don't know what it's called. I forgot. True Crime Underground, I think it's called. And so he was talking about, so I mean, this has been unsubstantiated, but people want to know where Tim Ballard factors into this case. And I say it factors in because Chad and Tim both spoke on the same Preparing a People and the Firm Foundation, the Firm Expo. Those are owned by Rod Meldrum. The other one, Preparing a People, was owned by Mike and Nancy James, whose names came up in trial testimony. They also have a business called Latter Day Media, where they still purport all the crap that they did back then today. They're just a little more careful. So they actually did a 10-part series with Chad Daybell that we'll never see. It's hidden behind a paywall and or privated because it was a 10-part series that they did of Chad Daybell channeling famous people on the other side. Okay. Anyways.
So there's that. Religious leader type of people?
Like Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, and yeah.
What?
I'm sure your grandma and your grandpa. I don't really know. I just remember the flyers, but that was privated, and they're sitting on top of that because they're such awesome Christians, Mike and Nancy James, who are connected to Tim Ballard too. So Tim Ballard would speak on the same like conferences and speaking engagements that Jason Mal would go speak at. Anyway, so whenever my ears perked up, whenever I heard Carl Danger mention on JS for Justice It was a timeline that they were doing way back. I mean, it was a long time ago. And he had mentioned about how Melanie Boudreaux had allegedly donated $6,000, allegedly, somewhere along those lines, to Operation Underground Railroad at an event in Kauai, while Melanie Boudreaux, Lori, and Audrey Bertero were hanging out the weekend that Tammy Daybell was murdered. But I got slapped upside the head during Chad Daybell's trial whenever Emma Daybell testified, Emma Daybell Murray, and her husband, Joe Murray. Okay. Because I'm sitting here looking at this picture right here of Melanie and Brandon. And then the weekend that Tylee was murdered, it was September 7th was a Friday. September 8th was a Saturday. September 9th was a Monday, because that's when when Chad Daybell texted Tammy the raccoon text. Okay. And September 8th was, let me look it up before I sit here and misspeak. Yeah, because I suck with time. Let's see. 2019. September 6th was a Friday. September 7th was a Saturday. September 8th was whenever she was last seen in Yellowstone National Park. September 9th is when she was, when Tammy was back at work. And Chad sent the text about the raccoon. So on September 4th, Joe Murray did a 9-minute and some change interview with BYUI radio, where he was promoting the Operation Underground Railroad Rexburg Rescue Run. Try and say that fast. Let me pull it up real quick. Rexburg Rescue Run. And let's see. Which, I mean, I finally did find pictures of, here's Tammy right here. Tammy's in this, well, hold on. Yeah. She's right here. Okay, so it was testified to, wait, I just kind of threw myself off. So let me open this up. Okay. I got knocked upside the head with this, because here is Chad Daybell's company, Spring Creek Book Publishing Company. That's him and Tammy's company. It sponsored the Rexburg Rescue Run right here on September 8th. Well, this was posted on September 8th, 2019, but the race was actually held on September 7th, 2019. Now, the whole time, I mean, since its inception, okay, I was under the impression that Tammy was preparing, for a 5K race. And I mean, she was, but not to run in it. She was prepared to volunteer, like she did right here. This is her right there. This is Seth, his wife. This is Garth. This is Joe and Emma's little one. This is Emma, and this is Joe. So Tammy is there with a volunteer shirt on. And it was because her company, aka her and Chad's Spring Creek Book Company, sponsored Tim Ballard's OUR Rescue Rexburg Run. This is all happening. Yes.
No.
This is all happening at the same time that Tylee Ryan is having her last moments. Okay. So you notice that Chad and Lori are not present, but we had a principal from Tammy's school testify that he saw Tammy at the finish line. as you can see, Tammy is right here at the finish line. He was not wrong. Okay. But it's like we've just been, in my opinion, for those of us who did not know any different. So Tammy wasn't training for this race to run in it, but she was there as a volunteer. She was helping people across the finish line. And that's because Spring Creek Book Company sponsored Tim Ballard's shit. So it really sent me into a frenzy because I was already under the impression that perhaps preparing a people, Firm Foundation, Firm Expo, because the Firm Expo and the Book of Mormon Evidence Conference, same thing, happened the weekend that JJ was murdered. Okay. Do you see how there's this event here the weekend that Tylee was murdered? And then fast forward a week or 2 weeks, and this is the weekend that JJ was murdered. There's this event, and then there's this other event. And I'm telling you, I suspect that these organizations are just a front for some more sinister behavior going on behind the scenes. That's my conjecture. I'm just saying. That's what I feel like this is. And I'm still digging, still digging into this because it's alarming to me. You've got this, what we present to the world, and then you have what's really going on.
Well, just based on the Glenn Pace memo that we've spent weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks going over, it's not an isolated incident. It's not just a few people here and there. It's more systemic. It's more concerning. It's something that everybody should be concerned about.
Yep. It's like seeing the world one way and then realizing that perhaps it's not the way I saw it.
Right.
And I think that's it for a lot of people, cognitive dissonance thing.
Yeah. Well, and that it's so much more magnified with Lori's case because everybody wants to say she's this horrible.
It's just her. It's just Chad.
Monster. She's this horrible monster. Chad's this horrible monster. And they are. They are. I'm not saying
but
they're
they
not.
have friends who are just like them.
And they got the way they got by going down a road that's not the only time anybody has gone down that road.
Right. If you look at it as like a mafia type picture, then also Chad and Lori are the fall guys in the bigger picture. And that's what I'm after. The bigger fish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This little boy right here looks like R. Frankie. That's why I remember seeing that. And I'm like, oh my God, it looks like R. Frankie. But I looked at the list of the runners and some of the people's name on there were Hamblin. I'm not playing. And I'm like, huh. I mean, but yeah, here's Tammy. So Emma did testify that she is the one who Googled Southwest wind. But Emma lied on that part, in my opinion, because why would she be preparing for an event? She testified to be, like preparing for an event. She didn't say what it was, but Joe Murray did. I don't think she did. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but it's like the realization. I was like, oh my God. So holy shit. Why would Chad, he's so cheap. He didn't pay for his own plane tickets to go whore around. Okay. And I'm sitting here thinking, why would his company sponsor this whole thing for none other than Tim Ballard? And are they gathering, quote unquote, off camera, so to speak? You know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes. Is that what's really going on here? I just want to know. Anyway, so that's the relevance of Tim Ballard, in my opinion, in this case. And plus, if Melanie Boudreaux did donate $6,000 to, another OUR event that happened in Kauai the weekend that Tammy was murdered, why? Why? And I mean, that I remember hearing, I don't remember where I heard this from, but I heard it the other day that, oh God, I'm gonna rack my brain now over Melanie Boudreaux getting caught up into these anti-trafficking type, I don't even know, organizations. Like, I don't know what to call it. But I mean, was she involved? I have to figure out first where I even got that from, and then try and track that down. But it just
there's so much to
mind-blowing.
track down, though. Like, that's their game, is they like leave clues scattered to the four winds.
Let's just let this play out. Let Chad and Lori be the quote unquote fall guys for the for the bigger picture, and let's continue to hurt some children. Or yours next. Just saying. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because I don't know who the bad guys are, so to speak. So I look at, try not to see everybody as evil, right? You don't want to become that. And I know that's not true because of everybody that's here. That's humanity. I see you guys show up and show out every time. And that reminds me of the good side of humanity, but there is this dark side that exists that consume children like Tylee and JJ, R and E, and so many others. They're part of this system, this network of people who get off on this stuff. Because there's more than just Chad and Lori. Like you said, the Glenn Pace memo, we have where Glenn Pace estimated that there were approximately 800 or so practicing Satanists up just along the Wasatch Front in Utah. So, I mean, let's just entertain it. Look, go higher, go lower, whatever you feel better with. I don't feel better with none of it. It's one too many. It's like, no. And that was
just
back
think
then.
think about this. In this upcoming trial, Brandon gets shot at. He goes into hiding. He takes his kids up to his parents' house up in Utah, and she and Alex show up at the house, at the neighbor's house, looking for the kids. And then that's down here in Arizona. And then she and Alex go up to Utah and show up at his parents' house in Utah looking for the kids. I mean, and that's when 2 of the 4 of them have been declared dark.
Right.
So,
and so what about Ruby Frankie's too? They were quote unquote dark, if you think about it, and they were looking for property in Arizona. Okay. To really unleash on the kids. So what's really going on? And I don't feel bad for asking that. I don't feel bad at all.
No. What's going on? That's
going
a
on,
reasonable question by a reasonable human being looking for reasonable answers. What in the world is going on?
I'll say F. What the F is going on, y'all? And I mean, for real, we had Melanie Gibb, who was the quote unquote point person for Arizona. She was hooked up by Jason Mao with Lori. Then Lori is hooked up to Chad by Melanie, or through Melanie. What's really going on? Mao is definitely a middleman. Amen. I couldn't say it louder, girl. Yeah. And so I had Megan messaged me last night while she was on Web Sleuth, or after she was on Web Sleuth. I was in the chat or whatever. And so she texted me after that. And, the night before I was going through some old screenshots, and I mean, I was just reading what I had captured, from all these different times. Because I mean, that's kind of what I did because of Latter Day Media, because of Mike and Nancy James, who own Latter Day Media and Preparing a People. Because they scrubbed the internet, okay, basically. You couldn't find things. So I have a huge storage of screenshots because I don't trust the damn internet. Because I mean, like, oh, now you see it, now you don't. Okay, so I'm just looking through all these things and I'm like, and the way I just explained how I feel like these events are like some kind of cover for something far more sinister going on in the back, like unaliving Tylee and JJ. Just saying. I mean, so much so that the police even got buccal swabs of, from Jason Mal. So, I mean, I'm not crazy. I'm not, I mean, he was ruled out whenever the medical examiner, or I forget who it is, what their title is, but the person that testifies to the fact of, like, my brother is JJ's biological father, 99.999%. They say the octillions and all that person. Well, they had Jason Mal in that basket too. And I'm just like, what? Now that makes sense to me because he had an event that he did with a Richard Young. Not Roger Young. I know there's a Richard and a Roger. Richard Young is a magician from Canada. And he, on his flyer, it said that he had done 33 magic shows. And I was like, oh, you don't say. 33? Interesting number. And I'm just like, if they depend on us looking crazy. That's part of it. I swear to God. I mean, that's what they do. They label you and then they say they discredit you the best they can so that nobody puts any stock into what I'm saying or whomever is the loudest, the squeaky wheel at the time, because there's plenty. I'm just part of this club now.
There are lots of us in the club. There's lots of us in the club.
It's intimidating, 'cause I'm like, this ain't I don't believe this shit, but this is what they believe. Whatever, like do what you do. But I'm sorry. My nephew was killed. My cousin was killed. My mom was on their list. Is I haven't seen them scratch her name off. Okay.
Your uncle was killed.
My uncle was killed. That's 3 people. That's evidence, in my opinion. To me, that's like, yep, they're no longer living. Okay. And I see how many people cover it up.
The courts found her guilty of that too. But I think that's what we're talking about right now is what role does the church play in that and her guilt? Because she's been found guilty in a court of law multiple times. She's serving multiple life sentences. So there's some form of justice, but there's also what relationship does that play to the Mormon church? To
how much do they play into that? Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Enabling it. Do they not say anything? Do they turn their heads to this ugly subculture that's created, in my opinion, by them? Okay. And so it's like a steady polarizing thing, where it's push pull and where it's like, okay, yeah, do it. It's like let the left hand not letting the right hand know what it's doing, basically, where they profit from it. They also could maybe participate. I don't really know. I was not there. Don't plan on going. Don't send me no invitation. But it's like, what's really going on? And why do they not step out sooner? I know they can't control people. I mean, I say that. I know they're not the boss of people. At the end of the day, it's Lori and Chad and whomever else, they know who they are, participated in the murders of Tylee and JJ. They know who they are. God don't sleep. That's all I'm saying. So it's like, I don't quite get it. And anyway, But I feel like the other day when we were talking about the slippery slope, that is a lot of the church. That slippery slope where it's just like, okay, well, so long as the Bible is translated correctly, that narcissism, like only when I touch it and say that it is true, is it true? And it's correct. And it's the King James Version, which if anybody looks up, it has something to do with the Freemasons, whatever, or something like that.
Right. And well, that has to do with Lori's court arguments too. She's like,
Nephi.
when anybody else says something that's against me, it's wrong, and you hate me, and
So long as
you
it's
don't
true.
want me to succeed. But whenever I say something, you're just against me. You're totally against me.
If he comes at you once, if he comes at you twice, if he comes at you 3 times, see, it says it right here in the scriptures. I don't want to do anything that's not right. She says that. And that's when she's justifying Joe's murder, or I'm sorry, Joe's death. I said it right the first time. For real.
Allegedly.
Right. Yeah. What he said. I'm sure people are like, oh my God, she says allegedly too much. But I mean, I learned to just kind of say that because every other thing out of my mouth is something. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Jermaine. Let's stop going after people smoking ganja and let's get these people. I mean, I just want to expose them. That's all I can do. I don't have the means to prosecute anybody, but that's what I want to do with this federal civil RICO lawsuit that's going to hold some of these. Okay, like Christina Atwood and Nicole Earl, 2 of the 7 gatherers, all right? They have a nonprofit organization right there in your town called Gathering Humanity. I'm like, really? Gathering of the Humanity, right? And what do? They make a lot of money in donations, and they claim to be helping refugees, but are they? Is that what's going on? Because it just feels like they're in that club, and or that secret society, that club of these people. And just like when Serena Sharp testified and Lori is like snarking on her and she's like, who did you swear to? Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you who? God. I think she was just reminding her of the oath that she took in the temple. You see what I'm saying? I think it was a threat.
Yeah. So you mentioned Mike and Nancy James.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at this article real quick. And you know about this. I don't know about it. So it's going to be news to me. It's not going to be news to you.
Bring it on.
I got to find the right tab.
Yeah. So I texted Megan and I was like, girl, I don't know what to call it yet, but I don't know, something like, I'm like, can we do some kind of stream or collab on something? And where we read these things from these screenshots from Preparing a People from around that time. And just, I feel like there's something there. I just can't put my finger on it. Like I still want to continue exposing them. And I mean, I have kind of left that alone because of Lori and, all her damn trials. But,
all right. So this is from the New Zealand Herald. And New Zealand is like this whole other country, like over there by Australia, right? It's weird that we get this from the New Zealand Herald.
I don't give me a line.
Anyway, company linked to Doomsday Preppers distances itself during missing kids probe.
They were backstroking, dude. They were like, oh, no. And then they double talk and there's other communications with other people saying, thank God, something about like our friends are the ones who alerted the police. I'm like, I don't effing think so, liar. I don't think so. Mm-mm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
An organization linked to a woman and her doomsday author husband found in Hawaii months after her two children mysteriously vanished, has tried to distance itself from the couple and the term cult. But video has recently resurfaced of the media company owners admitting they followed the prolific writer Chad Daybell when he moved from the state of Utah to Rexburg in Idaho. His new wife, they knew about his new wife. His new wife, Lori Vallow, has completely refused to assist the months-long investigation into the disappearance of her daughter, Tylee, and adopted son, JJ, according to the Rexburg Police Department. Hi, JJ. Hi, Tylee.
Four babies.
Ms. Vallow, 46, and Mr. Daybell, 51, were located over the weekend on the Hawaiian island of Kauai, thousands of kilometers away from where the children were last seen in late September. She has been ordered to physically produce them to authorities by January 30th and risk being subject to civil or criminal contempt. She's subject to more risk than that.
Yeah, that
Tylee and JJ were not with the couple, and there is no evidence they were ever in Hawaii. Vallow and her husband, Chad Daybell, have been staying on Kauai for an unconfirmed period of time. There are no local charges or any current warrants of arrest. A reporter from East Idaho News. Oh, who's that? Hi, Nate.
Nate.
Hi, Nate. Look at that. Pepper the couple with questions, but the only thing Ms. Vallow said was, "That's great," when she was told people were praying for her children. Oh, did she really do that?
She said, "That's great."
She was told people were praying for her children, and she said
people were praying
great.
for you, your children, and yep, that's great.
Oh my gosh. The level of narcissism knows no bounds.
They have
Ms.
friends.
Vallow and Mr. Daybell married weeks after his wife, Tammy, died in October. Her death was initially thought to be natural, but her remains have since been exhumed. Blah, 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 blah. Subsequent investigations by the local sheriff's office determined Ms. Daybell's death may be suspicious. Mr. Daybell's friend, Julie Rowe, said he had previously had visions that Tammy would die.
She didn't tell nobody.
He was emotionally distraught. He was crying, and he said that his angels had told him that he was going to lose Tammy.
It makes me wonder if there's this hierarchy of just like, translated beings. Let's just say there's this group, but like the team name is not actually angels. It's actually like a group of people named angels. Do you see what I'm saying? Or I don't know how to explain
gatherers. Like gatherers. Yeah.
Gatherers, angels.
Right.
You have the translated beings, ministering angels. You have like these different groups. And it's like, I'm going to figure it out one day.
No, in the Mormon religion, Lucifer was an angel. He was the most beloved angel. Yes. But then Jesus, exactly. Lucifer's brother, according to Mormon doctrine, Lucifer was an angel. He was a beautiful angel. But Jesus was his brother and was determined to be the one that would sacrifice his life for all of mankind through grace. And that's when Lucifer became Satan. It's kind of like that.
Yep.
Mr. Daybell penned a number of books, blah, blah, blah. He claims he crossed into another dimension while cliff jumping as a teenager and was also hit by a monstrous wave.
Yeah. Chad Daybell likens his near-death experiences to, like Jason, when he has his health issues. I'm like, oh my God, it's a traumatizing event, right? But that's what Chad Daybell's. He didn't nearly die. He didn't flatline or anything, but that's his definition of having a near-death experience. A close call, basically.
I was hit by a huge wave. It almost killed me.
I wish he would whole ass die. I mean, why can't he whole ass die with this near death shit? Okay. Why can't he whole
Because
ass do something?
he's got that huge head, and that huge head
Yes.
kept him afloat during that wave
Yes.
experience. Right.
Huggy Bear. Hashtag Spirit Brothers. Yeah. Oh my God. I snorted. Oh my God. You heard it. Lucifer is a narcissist. Amen. I do believe that. I do. I believe that that's how this is happening, you know.
Hold on. I got to check chat just for the hell of it because I haven't checked in a minute.
They're really funny. Thank y'all for being here.
Yes. Thank you so much for hanging
Toads
with
can
us.
float. Yes, toads can float. I told you.
Apparently, chuds can float too with their big,
Mhm.
ginormous spud head.
Whopper head. You're welcome.
Oh, now I got to find out where it was. Okay, I'm here. All right. I
That's
figured
my line.
it out. He was hit by a
Jeanette.
monstrous wave in his early 20s. If you're going to be hit by a monstrous wave, the early 20s is probably a good place to be hit by a monstrous wave because you'll probably
Yeah.
survive it. But
Yeah. I can't even if I drink my water wrong. I'm like,
right?
okay.
if I flip the seat like the chair lift off of the recliner wrong, then I might like roll out of
That's
it.
a near
and
death,
like,
Joe.
yeah,
You can write
it
books
is.
and shit.
Yes. Near death recliner experiences. That's my next book. Write it down now.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God. For the second half of your life. Chad had 2 parts. You know. God.
Ms. Vallows. She says Ms. Vallows. Ms. Vallows, they say in here. She said in the trial multiple times, my husband, my husband, my husband, my house, my car, my kids. But here they say Ms. Vallows' former husband, Charles Vallow, also died last year. He was shot dead in July by her brother, Alex Cox, who had claimed he acted in self-defense.
With a C.
Mr. Cox died in December.
Conveniently. And he was cremated, which is really not a Mormon thing.
Alex was too.
Alex, that's what I said. Alex was cremated.
So Alex and Charles and Joe were all cremated?
Well, Joe was cremated because no one had claimed his remains. And so the city or whomever, you know, I don't know what to call that department, but yeah.
The local agency deemed that that's how he should be handled.
But they saved whatever, you know, like they saved portions for what if. Kind of like they did with Alex, you know, they save like, I want to say a portion of their liver or something. I don't know. I'm not speaking intelligently like right now. Corner morgue.
Always.
Thank you,
That's
little
me
Brian.
always. Yeah. Mr. Cox died in December. Divorce documents filed by Mr. Vallow last February. Okay, so she lied on the stand. She didn't take the stand.
Yeah.
No, she lied when she interviewed other witnesses. So she testified without testifying by interviewing other witnesses.
We were not getting a divorce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what, did she tell that to Nancy Joe? Is that who she told? Yeah.
Yeah. When she was testifying without testifying.
Yes. That's how she testifies without testifying. And that's how it's going to go in trial too.
It was at La Jolla Cove, Sweet Melissa, or La Jolla Cove.
La Jolla, yes.
Okay.
Divorce documents filed by Mr. Vallow last February claimed that his wife believed she was a translated being and a god assigned to carry out the work of the 144,000
at the New World Order. That's what it should say.
The grandparents of the missing boy, JJ, Larry and Kay believed Mr. Vallow was murdered and said Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell had cult-like beliefs. They also said Mr. Vallow was so worried that Lori would kill him during their divorce that he sought a protective order. Yeah, he talked to Gilbert and Chandler police both, or was it just Gilbert police?
Gilbert. They
Gilbert,
advised
right.
him, and so he followed everything that they told him to do. They did it. He did it, and then they were like, "Oh, we don't know if this is still good." You know, that officer who helped her evade being held accountable. There's a lot of those in her life, I do believe.
I got to show that right there. Hey,
yeah,
Charles.
JoJo says Nancy told her Charles was getting one. I love it. She gray rocked the hell out of her. It was awesome. Thank you, Nancy Joe. Aunt Nancy.
Yep. Yep.
By proxy. No.
All right. I got to find my way back one more time. There we go. All right. Found it. That's so weird to me, though. Okay. Looking at this picture of him right here, that he wore his watch on his left wrist when he was left-handed, because I'm left-handed and I always wear my watch on my right wrist. So
yeah,
just kind of weird. Just
I mean, I'm
like,
right-handed, but if I have, when I have worn a watch, it's been on my left, opposite.
Yeah. Right.
He also, I mean, he batted and he was a left-hand pitcher.
Right. Southpaw. I was too. But I didn't pitch in minor league baseball. I pitched in like co-ed softball. So it was like slow pitch.
Underhand.
Yeah, exactly.
I play softball. Yep. Yeah. Right-handed. Look, I cannot, but I mean, like if I'm trying to rope the trash can, you know, I mean, I swear if I throw it my right hand, I never make it. Never. I might as well just walk my ass to the trash can. Okay. But it's a game I play. And so, but when I throw it my left hand, just not even trying, I make it. And I'm like, whatever, whatever.
Right.
It's weird.
You know what they say. I'd give my right arm to be ambidextrous.
My grandma was left-handed too. I mean, she wasn't ambidextrous though, that I know of, but he was.
Left-handers actually are more ambidextrous than right-handers are. Just saying.
My youngest, sorry, he's lefty. You know. I just don't know how y'all write on notebooks. You know, with the spiral, like, do you have a permanent spiral ingrained into your freaking arm?
We do. Yes, actually, you should see my courtroom notebooks from all of these from all of these trial sessions. The spiral is on the left side, so I got to like lift my left hand up, and it's not pretty.
Carolyn Hughes says I'm left-handed. Always wear my watch on my left wrist. So
wow.
I guess it's just personal preference, maybe.
I guess it is. I have never worn my watch on my left wrist.
And that's the worst thing, Northwest, is for people to force lefties to be righties, you know.
I personally know relatives a generation before me that went to Catholic school, and the nuns would slap you on the wrist, on the hand with a ruler if you tried to write with your left hand. They would force you to write with your right hand in Catholic school.
That's wrong. Just got to do it my way, Joe, or the highway. I'd take that ruler and slap it.
Actually, my aunt, she was right there with you.
Yeah.
She right there with you. She had a couple of other things that didn't agree with Catholicism. That
you go, girl.
Yep. Love my aunt. The grandparents of the missing boy believed Mr. Vallow was murdered and said Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell had co-like beliefs. They also said Mr. Vallow was so worried that Lori would kill him during their divorce that he sought a protection order. In court filings unearthed by Fox 10 Phoenix, Mr. Vallow's lawyer wrote that Lori Vallow was convinced she was eternally married to the Mormon prophet Moroni.
Yeah, well, Tim Ballard talks to Nephi. Well, his psychic does.
Is that true though? Did she believe she was married to Moroni? I know she thought
I
she
really
got the
think it's just
priesthood
a
for
ritual.
Moroni.
I think it's a ritual. I
Okay.
think it's just inside speak. It's like,
Gotcha.
hey, I saw Jesus right here by the initiatories. And if you also get your calling and election made sure, and you also maybe get your second anointing or whatever the hell they did, I don't care. It happened. James and Elena became a thing. And here we are. So
Here we
I
are.
don't know.
All right. Meanwhile, Joseph Ryan, who was the father of Ms. Vallow's missing teenager Tylee, had a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
How old was Joseph Ryan when he had a heart attack?
He was in his 50s. I don't know the exact age. I'm trying
People
to
in
think
their
if it's
50s have
grade
heart
point.
attacks. That's not unheard of. So
Right.
it's
Yeah, but this, I'm telling you, there's a window of time. It would have been the week. I'm sorry, the date that my grandmother died was March 17th, 2018. Uncle Charles came in by himself. And it just seems like that's just the perfect opportunity that if Lori and whatever, if Lori wanted to kill Joe, if it was just her or her and her bro, who had the envies to do it anyways, for a long time, that would have been a perfect window for that to have taken place. And, my uncle would have not been aware of that because he was here for my grandmother's funeral. And then Joe Ryan was found April 3rd, weeks later, in advanced decomposed condition. Like he had been dead a week or two.
yes.
As
Right.
if that'd be kind of that perfect window of time.
Yeah. He was unexplainedly unalived.
And she collected off of it.
Yeah. And so did Tylee, right? And she was the controller of Tylee's account that received those death benefits, right?
Yep. Yeah. And you got to think, I mean, if you've watched Megan's latest video, the bomb ass video, I think, of Barry, it's very telling.
Yeah.
She really pulled that together.
That's a
and
good
put
video.
it into a
Yes, it
video
is.
form. And it really shows who Barry is. Barry seems to have, what do you call that whenever you can't get over something? Like he's gone after the IRS, right? He's got, what do you call that? Vengeance or
He's obsessive.
I mean, same way with Alex Cox and Joe Ryan. And then how he wanted to bait Joe into an argument so that he could make it look like self-defense. And then ba-ba-da-bam, that happened with Charles.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't get over things. Lori couldn't get over Joe. She talked about Joe all the time. I mean, it's very, very suspicious. Very. I mean, I believe she murdered Joe. I said it. I'm saying it, and I'll continue saying it till I die. So
Allegedly. I'll put that in there for you.
I'm
Allegedly.
not. Come at me, bitch. Come at me.
Oh, she's gonna sue you for slander. You done did it now.
She ain't got shit. What? I might as well just pay it to my mom and to the government because she owes them anyways, right? Anyway.
Meanwhile, Joseph Ryan, who was the father of Ms. Vallow's missing teenager Tylee, had a heart attack and died in 2018. The Rexburg Police Department, in a statement last month, said, "We are aware that in the weeks after Tammy Daybell's death, Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell told witnesses that Lori's daughter had died a year before the death of her father."
Mm-hmm. That'd be the Gilberts.
What the hell?
They testified.
Around that same time, Chad told another witness that Lori had no minor children. Oh,
I mean, just told different stories of different people.
oh, but no, that right there. Chad told somebody that Lori
Yeah.
had no minor children.
Gilbert. And he said that, or he said something about Tylee didn't like me. She didn't like anybody, but
What?
she didn't like me.
Look
Resentment.
at
Yeah.
this guy. Look at this guy. Like,
He's a potato.
seriously.
He's a thumb. He's a toad. He's a disgusting monster. And that's, I'm telling you, this is what these victims saw. Like, that's what Tammy saw as she's fading away. That's what I'm just going to say JJ and Tylee saw as they were fading away. One of the people. You know? It's so
I don't
gross.
get it. It
Vendetta.
is. It's disgusting. Mr. Daybell had previously been a main speaker at a number of Preparing a People events run by Color My Media.
That's another one. They have like 17 different companies.
I want to do a little like investigative report on them. Color My Media.
Yeah, come on. Come with it, Joe. I'm here
Hello,
for it.
Color My Media. We're coming. Color My Media. Write it down.
They will be here to character assassinate you in 0.2 seconds.
Alexa, remind me to investigate Color My Media tomorrow morning at 9:00.
Yeah.
I'll remind you tomorrow at 9 a.m.
She's going to remind me tomorrow.
Do it,
9
Alexa.
a.m.
Damn. Get a jump on that.
What?
Yeah,
What?
they host Tom Harrison, and
what did Lori see in that? For real,
I feel bad for saying that because Tammy was also married to him, and so
yeah,
I just like to think that Tammy just did what young Mormon women did and do, and marry young, and just trust in, the sanctity of marriage.
Yes,
and
absolutely, she should have, and yes, yep, right, like, yeah. I'm going to leave it at that. That's a good way to put it. The website states helping.
I'm sorry. She was doing everything in her power, I think, to dissociate by playing her games, by just whatever. Like, she has some ungrateful kids, obviously, and a piece of shit husband. I said it. So he's a piece of shit.
Oh my gosh.
She had the crappiest shoes. It was reported by one of, somebody, I think a friend of hers, that she had like no soles on her shoes. Like I don't know. She was the backbone and the bread and butter, I think, that supported her husband and her children, who all ultimately cockeyed on her. And it's so sad. And I'm so sorry, Tammy, like, ugh.
And there are, okay. So no.
Look, see that easy button? Chad was pushing it right there.
Right, exactly. So no victim shaming or blaming, but there are some of their children that are supporting him right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've never heard one of them speak against him. So I'm gonna say all of them, because none of the kids have spoke out for their mom. I haven't seen it. Have you? Anybody? Nope. Mm-mm. Till then, I see that as support of their dad. Shame on them. Shame on them. I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, no. Nope. That's what's wrong. We sit here and, we tata all these little babies. They're not babies, though. All these people, they're grown-ups. They're grown-ups with kids. They're molding the minds of their own children, and some of them are teachers. They're molding the minds of children in school.
The
That's
next
scary.
generation. Yeah. All right.
Sorry. I know I tend to I just kind of suck the wind out of the sails, but
I never do that. I never do that. I've never done that in my life. I swear.
What? Suck the wind? I think I said that wrong anyways.
take the wind out of the sails.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, grading
The-
kids dark too. There were some of that. There was some of that going on too. I was stuttering. I'm sorry. Kind of got stuck in a little stutter portal.
The website, its website,
Is
Color My
defunct.
Media. Color My Media. Its website states it is helping to prepare the people of this earth for the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Yep.
In a Color My Media video that has recently surfaced online. All right, I have a lot of research to do before our next live.
Well, good. Maybe me and Megan, because we're gonna hopefully soon. I don't know when, but that would be interesting if we could.
Yeah.
Link up.
We can collaborate.
Yeah, like the collab, and collaborate. The planet
Filmed
warm.
prior to a July 2017 conference featuring Mr. Daybell. Wait, there was a July 2017 conference featuring Chad.
Mm-hmm. That's whenever
the
he met
Jameses
Melanie.
admit they followed him from Utah to Rexburg. What?
Yep.
Seriously, people, what is wrong with you?
I have a
Chad's-
video for that. It's queued up. I've just been waiting.
You want to play it? Because it might satisfy my
It
curiosity.
would behoove. This is Rod Meldrum, and he went on a Mormon book reviews exclusive. Rod Meldrum speaks out about Tim Ballard and Chad Daybell and more. Okay, this was January 2024. Y'all want to hear some bullshit? Here goes. I already have it sped up. I have it sped up to 1.15.
Stuff that he had done on the Avow website, which
I'm
is
back up. Damn.
Chad comes into the house, feet my feet at that point in time, and I could barely
I
walk
didn't
because
get
of the
back
pain
far
in my
enough. I'm
feet,
so
and I was
sorry.
is pretty. We have the same speakers come back, quite often, but we also have constantly new speakers that we have coming in to share their thoughts on a lot of different subjects. And it's kind of funny because I've even had people who come in directly, against my research and say, I've got it wrong or whatever, debunking my research. And I've had them actually come and speak at my conferences as well. So we're fairly open. Unlike a lot of the Mesoamerica guys, it's pretty much if you don't walk the line on the Mesoamerica stuff, you're not going to be invited to speak at their events. And I've never been invited to speak at any of their events. We've actually invited them several times to speak at ours, but they usually won't. But we've had other people who are not as completely espousing the Mesoamerican setting that have come and spoken
He's
at
about to get off
our events as well. So we have a wide diversity. We have a lot of people who are not of our faith, actually, archaeologists and linguistics people, and on all kinds of different people, from astrophysics and astronomy and that kind of stuff, aspects.
And you've even had evangelicals come. Like David Barton has spoken to your group.
Oh, yeah,
right?
David Barton.
Yeah.
Let's talk about David Barton.
Basically, my goal.
David Barton is friends with Glenn Beck and Tim Ballard. They actually have a nonprofit organization together.
With these events is truth. What's the truth? I've often told people around me, my circle of people, that if you ever catch me actually being more interested or more passionate about defending my position than I am about finding the truth, and you call me out.
Calling you out,
really,
Rod.
when it comes down to it, the only thing that really matters when it comes down to this is what's the truth. And there isn't a dozen truths out there. I mean, that's one of the things that drives me crazy about progressivism is it's kind of like truth is whatever you think it is. But that comes from a human-centric, humanist, viewpoint, and being, based on God. I think there's only one viewpoint that matters, and that's God's view. So we need to align to Him, okay, and His gospel, not go off on our own tangents with whatever we think is, when we wake up in the morning, are we male or female? I mean, there's just simple truths out there, and there's I know that there's complications with some of that kind of thing. With people with same-sex attraction, that kind of stuff. But bottom line is that you still are. 99.999% of everybody is born a specific sex, right? And so biologically, that's what we are. And then other things influence our thoughts about ourselves. But anyway, the bottom line is that, like I said, we're a conservative group. And whenever you have literally,
Okay.
I mean, we have.
So he goes way out. Okay. So that's good to show that he goes, his pattern, he goes way, 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 way big to minimize what he's about to say.
450 speakers, presentations
Not.
on our streaming website, which is the largest repository of information and research ever assembled on the Book of Mormon, within the Mormon faith, basically the Latter-day Faith groups. And so so the chances of having somebody go off the rails and get weird, is pretty. It's high. I mean, we do our best to try to vet people and to make sure that they're not saying or doing or living things that are not compatible with our faith. But people hide things too. So you just don't know what's really going on. So back to as an example, people say, well, that Rod Meldrum guy, he and Chad Daybell were like pals. First off, I only met Chad Daybell probably twice in my whole life. One of those was at a conference where I was asked to come and speak, and he was asked to come and speak as well.
Tim Ballard.
And after the event happened, and I heard him speak, I told the event organizers that if he's going to speak anymore, then I'm not coming to their events anymore. I will not.
But just know that Mike and Nancy James and Rod Meldrum broke up in September of 2021. It was interesting to watch.
Speak at their events.
I only met Chad Daybell twice. Chad Daybell twice, which is 2 times more than I have ever met him.
Yeah, I definitely didn't ask him to come speak at my conference for sure.
Right.
Oh, he's going to talk about Tim Ballard too.
If he's going to speak, there was just something about it. I had the other experience I had is I was helping the people who were involved with organizing these events. They were moving. I was helping them move from Rexburg, Idaho, back to Utah, and I had plantar fasciitis really bad in my feet at that point in time, and I could barely walk because of the pain in my feet. And I was up there helping them move. I said, well, I brought my truck and a trailer and so forth for them to put stuff in. But I said, I can't help you move much because my feet are just in such pain. I just can't do it. And they said, well, if you can just bring the truck and trailer. Well, anyway, long story short, there's not many people showed up to help him move. Ended up moving stuff into the trailer, and Chad Daybell shows up at their house. He had done several podcasts and so forth with Chad Daybell, and was quite close with Chad Daybell. And Chad comes into the house. We had introductions and so forth. And then he proceeds to sit down on the couch and watch while the rest of us are helping.
That's our Chad.
Just sat there. I was kind of like, what the heck? Usually people, especially friends and so forth, they would pitch in and help move stuff. And he didn't lift a finger for anything. So I was like, okay, that's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then I heard some stuff that he had done on the Avow website, which is another Voice of Warning website. I've never been involved with that. I know a lot of the people who are involved with that and were and so forth. And so anyway, long story short is that I heard about I don't know if he called it a vision or a dream or something about this train
dream
that he was on, and it would start off as like a slow moving locomotive and then moved into kind of a faster, sleeker train, and pretty soon it turned into like a bullet train or whatever. And that he was kind of in the front of it, guiding the train along with the presidency of the church. And
this is the same thing Tom Harrison did in his book.
Yeah, there's something going on here. And so I never had him speak. He never spoke at any of my events. I just never felt comfortable with that. He seems like a nice guy, but I don't know him very well. I had seen Lori Vallow a couple of times, but I didn't know anything about what was going on with them.
Yeah, you met Chad twice.
I'm just grateful that we didn't get involved with any of that stuff. So any kind of trying to make a connection between myself and Chad Daybell
we're stupid.
It's not there.
Okay, it's not there. Okay. And and so just to clarify, when you went to move your friends, was that the first time you met Chad Daybell, or had you been speak?
Anybody who's trying to say that I met
I just want to know the timeline.
That I met Chad Daybell a couple of times is a liar.
Yeah, I know.
Anybody who says that I met Lori a few times is a liar. Oh wait,
yeah,
I just said that.
They weren't even married. They were just canoodling.
He's distancing himself though, like at a very uncomfortable level.
Rate at a high rate. Yeah.
Yes.
And this is how many years later? This was in 2024. This
They happened in 2019, 2018 and 2019.
Wow.
Yeah. But he's about to talk about Tim as well.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to
And then
remember
we'll be
which
done.
came first, because that was Mike and Nancy James were the ones that were putting on the Preparing the People
Okay.
thing, and they were the ones that invited him, and they were the ones I said that I won't speak unless unless he's not speaking. There was another Julie Rowe was.
Why? I mean, why would you say that? What did you not know about Chad? We all vouch for each other. You know, it's weird.
It's another one that spoke at their events.
Yeah. What did you think of Julie?
I never did actually meet her.
Okay.
Although she was at one of the events that I think she was at that same event that Chad Daybell and I were all speaking at up in Rexburg, Idaho. But after that, but again, she never spoke at any of my events either.
Okay.
You know, so I think, you know, I mean, basically, Mike and Nancy James were very, very involved with the dreams and visions people.
Mm-hmm.
And although I think dreams and visions are important and so forth, I think they're private. So my personal feeling is that as a general rule, you know, the people who've had dreams and visions, and it's interesting because, you know, even in the scriptures, I mean, you look at in the Bible, you know, I mean, you have Nebuchadnezzar has a dream and Pharaoh has a dream. They have these vivid dreams, but they don't know the translation of them.
Oh, Lord, he's citing the Bible in this.
Yeah,
he's
that's
citing
because
the
it's
Bible.
public.
Dude.
He really wants to say the Book of Mormon. Mm-hmm. It's how they communicate, Joe.
I know. I know. I know. I understand, but
it's like they use that language.
Yeah, they use the language to disguise what's really going on. That's the problem.
It's very passive aggressive. It's never just outright, really. It's weird.
It's not straightforward language. Just be a human being with human being language, human being about how human beings feel and live and interact. But they can't ever do that.
Do y'all notice the same thing with Lori whenever she's talking to the judge and she uses court speak? It's that insider speak, like the DO. And I mean, she just talks this court speak. I don't, it's like,
but it's stupid, uneducated court speak. It's stupid, uneducated. You're not really a lawyer, but you're pretending to be a lawyer. Court speak.
Yeah. That. Just like she's not really a believer in Jesus. She's just manipulating and using the language. It's the vehicle.
Yep.
And they're all like this, in my opinion.
To do that. And so I think that's,
let me get to that spot.
There's a lot to that. And in fact, that plays a little bit into my friend Tom Harrison with Visions of Glory.
Tom Harrison.
Because he had all these things. He didn't want to share it. He had these things for years before.
So Tom Harrison is his friend. Tom didn't want to share this for years. Then why did he? Okay. It's like, I didn't want to, but I did. You know, it's fucking frustrating.
He began to even let anybody know that it was there. And when he met with John Pontius, it was John Pontius that actually was pushing him to.
Yeah. So they blamed the dead guy that wrote the book. The ghostwriter became a ghost. It's very interesting.
Share these because they're really powerful.
And so this is actually how Tom Harrison, I just remember this. This is how Rod Meldrum is how Tom Harrison met Ken Krogh. Huggy Bear, you'll know that. But we'll get into that one day.
Events that happened in his life, and he saw these different things. But even Tom Harrison, I had opportunities to talk with him.
Visions of Glory is Tom Harrison.
Came on one of my
he wrote Visions of Glory.
Tours, and we spent 2 weeks touring the Heartland research back there. So if you know Visions of Glory, he's the Spencer of Visions of Glory. I think everybody knows that by now. So hopefully I'm not divulging anything that's not supposed to be. But when I talked to him, there were things that were put in the book that, everybody has their particular lenses that they look through. And John Pontius has his lenses. And so as Tom Harrison was trying to explain his dreams or visions, whatever, to John Pontius.
In my opinion, if anybody wants to know what I think Tom Harrison is talking about, he's actually talking about his experiences as a remote viewer. He's what do you call that? Whenever you're a voyeur, that type of thing. That's what I think Tom Harrison is really relaying in his book.
Oh wow!
Very
Voyeur
interesting.
experiences.
Yeah, as a remote viewer, which is what he was teaching Chad to do. He was teaching
Wow.
Chad in the Salt Lake City office how to remote view, as well as Lori. And that was one of the reasons Lori got rid of Uncle Charles, she said, because he was blocking her gifts.
Right.
So Tom is part of this. Absolutely.
Yes. You know, that communication is never perfect. And there was quite a few things.
And he's a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is the licensed therapist. I don't know. Just if you think about CIA and covers and how all that goes, and there's a handler and all the things that are weird. Tom Harrison, your boy.
After the book was, after John had finished putting the book together, that there are quite a few things that that Tom was going, I need to make more clarification. This is not quite
No,
right.
he didn't.
I don't think that that's coming across what I was seeing quite perfectly. Apparently, he tried to make some changes to Visions of Glory, and the Cedar Fort Books, which is the publisher, said, "No way, we're already selling thousands of these books, and we own the copyright when they signed, you know, for them to be the publisher." And so
it's
they
not
didn't allow him
Tom's
to make any
fault.
changes. So I know that there are changes that Tom would like to have made that he wasn't able to do.
Then write a new book, Tom. Clear them up. Don't do
Right.
freaking firesides on the shit. He's like, I don't want to be anybody's guru as I'm being everybody's guru.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I thought this was going to be quicker than this, but oh wait, okay. He said, "Oh my God!" Right, Tim. Wait, let me do Ballard.
Anything associated with the Mormon Church does not go quickly. I mean, it may
This is
go.
true.
Yeah, it may go efficiently, but that's relative to expectations.
Oh, it was way at the beginning. My bad. Dang. Damn. Oh wait, no.
You got
Okay,
this.
here, real quick.
Stars and now have become, as your perspective on why we do what we're doing.
Yes.
But there are a few other people, you know, that are
stars.
Well, were kind of almost like superstars and now have become, have had all kinds of attacks on them. One of those that people are very much interested in is Tim Ballard.
Yes. Talk about Tim.
And so I wanted to kind of just relate a little bit about Tim Ballard because he's been also under attack.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say it's kind of like the old adage that no good deed will go unpunished.
No good. The way his jaw moves.
If you get into
what he just said of Tim Ballard, no good deed will go unpunished.
Yeah. He also said he was like a superstar and now have become, had all kinds of attacks on them. One of those people are Tim Ballard.
What is this guy's name? Like, I got to know.
Rod Meldrum with his 2 baby teeth. Sorry.
Wow. That's
Rod Meldrum.
insane.
Rod Meldrum.
He's
family owns a mink farm.
Taking up for Tim Ballard. Oh my.
Oh yeah. And so he's throwing, it's like the bloodlines, I'm telling you. And it's like poo-poo on Chad Daybell and his bloodline. But we're going to promote Tom Harrison and Tim Ballard and the bloodlines.
This into somebody's grill enough. At first, people try to ignore things, right? They just, like with me, they just try to ignore
everything.
That's okay, little boy. You know, someday you'll grow up and you'll learn the facts and so forth.
What?
So they just try to ignore it, and then once it gets to a certain level where they're getting pushback from a lot of other people, then they start to address it, usually by attacking it.
What about raping women? I mean, where does that come in? Asking.
And then
what about abducting children? Does that come in?
Never saving one, but claiming to.
Right.
I mean, right.
Yeah. Goes through the whole Thomas Kuhn, scientific revolutions and so forth, you know, how revolutions actually happen. And bottom line is that then after they realize that they're kicking against the truth, then they begin to embrace it, but then they start to own it. And then they call it their own.
What is he even talking about?
Well, we believe this the whole time.
Word
And so
salad.
you do see that.
This is
I think we've seen that transition.
Yeah.
Word salad.
For thousands and thousands
Like
of people.
we were talking about Tim
over the
Ballard.
course
What the
of
hell are you
time.
talking about?
As at
Start-
first they're in dis.
He's about to start talking about the Heartland theory and the Mesoamerican. It's just
Salty,
it's
if you're still in here, if Salty's
crazy.
still in here, we have a thing about word salad. Like we hate people that just like try and bury
Melanie
the
Boudreaux
truth
and Melanie
under-
Gibb.
Yes, word
They're-
salad. This
yeah.
guy just spewed out like 5 minutes worth of word salad. That's wow, total bullshit, dude.
Lori does
come on.
inside talk. He does word salad. Yeah. It's what I'm saying. He goes real big and then to minimize it, you know, like I don't know. Well, so that's a little taste of Rod Meldrum, y'all. He gets under my skin a lot, and so I probably shouldn't
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
I shouldn't even
you-
comment or anything.
But you have
Give
to
your head a-
recognize word salads when they're presented to you. And that's that makes my head hurt.
It does, and so I really am sorry about that. But go take you 2 Tylenol. Call me in the morning. Yeah. Actually, you know, Rod Meldrum and his wife Tanya Holyoke, she's an energy healer, and you know they lost a son due to he overdosed. But there's this guy, and so I'm gonna try and remember his name real quick. Aaron Shamo or something. He was this kid in Utah. He got a little prison time. He was like ordering really like fentanyl or something from like China, or I don't know. Weird. But I remember looking the story up. So, I mean, I know that Rod lost a son, but I'm just like, wow, you never hear him talk about it. He never brings it up. It's just like, if you don't talk about it, then it doesn't exist kind of thing. Just, you can, I believe I can tell, it seems to me like it's a effed up family system as well. And it goes right in line with those 800 practicing Satanists that Glenn Pace talks about.
Right.
You know, it just to me, it just shows. And anyway, so
all right.
Yeah.
So
well,
do you think we should do one more before
Yeah.
the trial?
yeah.
Yeah, 1 or 2
I do.
more. Yep, I think so too.
I'll need somebody with a whip to keep me like, nope, don't veer. I need some of those blinders that the horses wear. Yeah.
Let's do it. All right.
All right. We're going to do it.
Yep.
So thanks for having me on. And I guess maybe Thursday, Wednesday, when do you want to do that? So we can kind of tell people what
We're
your schedule.
on Tuesday. Let's I'm good for either Wednesday or Thursday. I'm good for either one because there's so much. Like there is
I
so
know.
much with this case.
It
So
really
you
is.
tell me. Like
Especially
we could probably do every single night.
Yeah, I know. And I would do it. I'm down because
All right.
this is it.
Let's do it again tomorrow night then. Let's do it
All right.
again.
Okie
Yeah.
doke. Be
Let's
there,
keep
be
going
square.
down this. Yep.
Just don't raise your arm to the square. Okay. All right.
Yep.
So, okay. Tomorrow.
Thanks. Yep. Tomorrow night
See
we're
y'all
gonna keep on down this path. Down this
But
rabbit
try to stay
trail.
more on the path.
Right.
That'll be fun. All right, guys. Thanks for having me. And love always wins. Justice for Tylee Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe, and Brandon.
Love always wins.
Bye, guys.
Good evening. Come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Oh, we can make a difference if we put in the time. Good evening, good evening. Come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about